Picked up by the beautiful aunt and taken home. I accept your confession. What's wrong? Are you unhappy? I'm pregnant now. You don't have to do anything, just be the father of the child. Yishin looked at the girl in front of him, feeling a bitterness in his heart. He had liked An Meng for 3 years, and for 3 years, he had been her devoted follower. From high school to university, for a full 3 years he brought her breakfast every day, bought her milk tea, worked tirelessly without complaint, and didn't he even look at other girls. An Meng said that minors shouldn't date and that they would talk about it in college. So, Yishin gave up on a prestigious university and followed An Meng to a community college. He knew he was being foolish, but that's how a devoted follower was. After entering the college, An Meng became the school beauty and started living a free-spirited life. She either dated rich second-generation men or boys with dyed hair. Yishin didn't mind these things. He thought that sincerity would eventually be returned, and one day, An Meng would change and come back to him. But the reality didn't follow his hopes. An Meng was pregnant, but she didn't know whose child it was. It certainly wasn't Yishin's. He had never even touched her hand. Why aren't you saying anything? Now that I'm pregnant, you're going to abandon me, right? An Meng stood on tiptoe, her tone aggressive. In her eyes, Yishin was just a dog. A dog that could be called at any time and fed shit without question. Devoted followers had no rights. Even if she was pregnant with another man's child, what did it matter? Yishin, the devoted follower, would just obediently become the one to take responsibility, right? Yishin looked at An Meng's face and felt that it was becoming more and more unfamiliar. Why should I accept you? You're pregnant, what does it have to do with me? I've never even touched your hand. Yishin said bitterly. He could foolishly love a girl and give everything, but he couldn't be the one to take responsibility for another man's child. Now, when he saw An Meng, he could only imagine her with those boys, with the rich second-generation men, in hotel rooms together. It was disgusting, really disgusting. An Meng's eyes widened. So you were lying about loving me? You're such a scumbag. Yishin took a deep breath. Yes, I don't love you anymore. At the point of his greatest disappointment, there was nothing else to say, just those simple words, I don't love you anymore. An Meng panicked and clung to Yishin, starting to act coquettishly. I know you love me. Let us be together, okay? If you want, I'll have another child for you. Go away. Yishin pushed An Meng away with disgust. At this moment, he had completely woken up. He had been a devoted follower for 3 years, and that was enough. If he continued to sink deeper, there would be no coming back. Yishin turned and walked away, the sound of An Meng crying behind him. He couldn't look back, because if he did, his life would be over. He walked forward, aimlessly, with no destination in mind. It felt like a part of his heart was missing, and letting go of someone he had loved for 3 years was so painful. It was as though the whole world had turned blank, his vision blurred, and he could see nothing. It started to rain. When it rained, it was okay to cry. That way, no one could tell whether it was tears or rain. A horn honked. A red sports car sped toward him, its headlights blinding. Yishin tried to move, but it was already too late. Bang! Ouch, it hurt. Yishin felt pain all over his body. Had he been hit by the sports car and killed? Just like that. It was fair. He was only 18. He still had his whole life ahead of him. How could this happen? As he was wallowing in sorrow, someone gently touched his forehead. The soft touch was accompanied by the fragrance of jasmine. Yishin sniffed and slowly opened his eyes. What he saw was a stunning woman. She had a sexy figure, especially her long legs, which were slender, white, and long. Are you awake? Sunyuoshua smiled seductively, her expression charming, but her gaze was incredibly gentle. Sorry, the rain made it hard to see. I didn't see you crossing the street. The doctor has already checked you over. You have some skin abrasions, but nothing serious. Yishin stared at Sunyuoshua, unable to look away. He had never seen such a beautiful woman, or rather, such a beautiful mature woman. With an oval face, almond-shaped eyes, pink lips, and flawless white skin, she was even more stunning than the actresses on TV. Her figure was absolutely mesmerizing. It had the charm that only a mature woman could possess, like a ripe peach, ready to be plucked. She looked to be at least 25 years old. Sister. Yishin called out tentatively. Sunyuoshua smiled seductively. I saw your ID, you're only 18. I'm 30, so you should be calling me aunt. He was 12 years younger than her. He could call her sister, but calling her aunt also felt awkward. Yishin hesitated for a moment. Even though she said to call her aunt, there was a way to address her that was somewhere between. Big sister, IHSS, Yishin tried to sit up, but the pain from his injuries was too much. Though nothing was broken, it still hurt terribly. Sunyuoshua gently placed her hand on his shoulder and said apologetically, "It hurts, doesn't it? I'm so sorry, but you really shouldn't have run the red light. Is something bothering you?" Sunyuoshua drove a sports car, so the accident was mostly caused by Yishin running the red light. Sunyuoshua was afraid Yishin had tried to kill himself. Her voice was so gentle, it triggered Yishin's sadness. "Big sister, I've been heartbroken," Yishin said, his voice cracking. Men should be strong, but heartbreak was unbearable. "Big sister, have you ever been heartbroken?" At 30, she should have experienced love a lot, right? Maybe she had already gotten married? Nope, Sunyuoshua shrugged. "I don't want to be in a relationship. Being single is so much more fun." Yishin widened his eyes, utterly stunned. Such a beautiful woman, 30 years old, and never been in a relationship. That was unbelievable. Sunyuoshua smiled, "I just haven't found the right one." Sunyuoshua was the heir to a wealthy family, and all the men who approached her had ulterior motives, so she was afraid to get involved with them. Having seen so much scheming over the years, she had grown weary of men. She had never met anyone she truly liked, so she just stayed single. Yishin sighed. "Actually, I've never been in a relationship either. I've only liked one girl for 3 years. Now, she's pregnant with someone else's child, and my heart is just dead." Sunyuoshua tilted her head, gently comforting him, "You're only 18, and you're so handsome. You'll never lack for girlfriends. Why be so sad?" Yishin was indeed handsome, and many girls pursued him, but he had only ever liked An Meng. When you love someone, you just keep loving them, right? Maybe. Yishin said, still downcast. "Don't be discouraged. I'll take you home." Sunyuoshua smiled. To her, Yishin was just a cute little brother. She didn't hate men, but she didn't mind this little brother at all. In fact, she really wanted to protect him and take care of him. "I don't have a home," Yishin said. "I'm not my parents' biological child. They kicked me out, and now no one wants me. How could this happen?" Sunyuoshua blinked, trying not to let her tears fall. This little brother was so pitiful. She wanted to show him that there were good people in the world. Sunyuoshua gently hugged Yishin. "Don't be afraid. They don't want you, but I want you. Come home with me, and I'll take care of you from now on." Chapter 2, I Will Take Good Care of You. Sunyuoshua's body was soft, and as she held Yishin in her arms, he felt warmth spread across his body, and his heart felt warm as well. It was as though he were a corpse, basking in sunlight. Yishin grew up in an ordinary family. His parents were neither bad nor good to him, and he thought his life would continue unpeacefully. But then the hospital sent word that, years ago, 2 babies had been switched at birth. One of them was Yishin. The other boy had lost both of his parents and had grown up in an orphanage. In a rush, Yishin's biological parents took him back, and then, without hesitation, they kicked Yishin out of their house. "If you were a student at Qingbei, we'd keep you, but unfortunately, you're just a vocational school student." Yishin was excellent in both academics and character, and he had always been the pride of the family. If not for An Meng, he could have easily gotten into Qingbei University. He thought that by giving up his future, he could win love, but it wasn't that simple. However, just because he didn't get into Qingbei, did that mean he deserved to be thrown out of his home? Are ordinary people unworthy of love? If love has conditions, can it really be called love? Yishin had no regrets about any of his decisions because they had opened his eyes to many things. He had seen through his foster parents and through An Meng. What saddened him was that his real parents were dead, and now, he had no family left in this world. "Big sister, I'm an adult now, I don't need anyone to take care of me," Yishin said firmly. He was 18, officially an adult. He had no home, he had lost his love, and it was time to grow up. Let the past go with the wind. Sunyuoshua smiled and pinched Yishin's face. "You're only 18, still a student. You have injuries that need to be treated. Come home with me. Don't overthink it, I won't hurt you. Yishin wanted to resist. Even though Su Nuoshue was 30, she was still a fragile woman. But Yishin was 18, he was a man. I'm a man, both physically and mentally normal. You're not afraid I'll do something to you if you take me home? Yishin said, irritated. He didn't like being treated like a child. Su Nuoshue raised her chin, smiling. You're a little boy, trying to scare me. I'm not afraid. Besides, at your age, how could you possibly have any inappropriate thoughts about someone like me, an older woman? I'm taking you home because I'm worried your wounds might get infected. After all, it was my fault you were hurt. I couldn't leave you on the street. I wouldn't be that irresponsible. Yishin was shaken by her words. He had nowhere else to go, his school was on break, and he had no money for rent. The only places he could afford were seedy hotels that cost a little over $10 a night, where the sheets smelled foul and had yellow stains, not even sure if it was urine or something else. Staying at this older woman's house for the holidays seemed like the only option. Once school resumed, he could go back to his dorm. Big sister, I'll go home with you, Yishin said. At this point, he could only compromise with reality. Besides, this older woman seemed like a good person. Good, I'm glad you understand, Su Nuoshue said gently. I live alone in a villa. It won't be too lonely with another person around. Yishin didn't dare look at Su Nuoshue. She was too beautiful, and if he looked too long, he'd get a nosebleed. He had pure, innocent love for the campus beauty, but a stunning 30-year-old woman like Su Nuoshue would naturally make any normal man think all kinds of things. But thinking wasn't illegal. He wasn't really going to date her, and Su Nuoshue probably wouldn't even consider him. Plus, they said, at 30, women are like wolves, at 40, like tigers. He didn't want to. What are you thinking about? Su Nuoshue lightly brushed her finger across Yishin's face. I'm not, I wasn't. Yishin stammered. Not what? Wasn't he what? Oh, Su Nuoshue picked up a bottle of yogurt from the table and inserted a straw. Yishin silently watched her movements, swallowing. Why did every action she made seem so full of feminine charm? Even An Meng didn't have this kind of allure. An Meng had slept with many men, while Su Nuoshue hadn't been in a relationship. Drink your milk. Su Nuoshue handed him the yogurt. Okay. Yishin took a big gulp. If he drank slowly, it would seem effeminate. Su Nuoshue smiled as she watched him, her gaze warm. Yishin felt like this older sister was very sweet. She probably didn't dislike him, despite her apparent aversion to men in general. He was just a clean, fresh young man, someone she found no reason to push away. Su Nuoshue put the yogurt down, and the straw left a red lipstick mark. Yishin stared at it, lost in thought. He wondered what her lips would feel like if he kissed them. An Meng had said that all men liked kissing her lips. Thinking about that made Yishin feel disgusted. An Meng wasn't a good girl. She didn't deserve his pure love. But what about this older sister? She was so beautiful, it was a shame she didn't have a boyfriend. Your clothes are ruined, covered in blood. You'll need to wear a hospital gown to go home. I'll buy you some new clothes tomorrow, Su Nuoshue said. Big sister, you don't have to spend money on me, Yishin said softly. He had known from a young age that every act of kindness had a price. He'd entered math competitions and given his prize money to his foster family, just to get them to cook for him. When his foster father was seeing other women, he'd help cover for him, destroying evidence so he wouldn't get beaten. He'd send breakfast to An Meng and buy her milk tea, and only then would she look at him. And on graduation day, the teacher had told him that as a vocational student, he'd be a disgrace to the school, so he shouldn't come back. The world was so utilitarian. This older sister was being so kind to him, and he had nothing to give in return. It made Yishin uncomfortable. Buying a few sets of clothes isn't spending money. You don't need to worry about it, Su Nuoshue said with a smile. She noticed that Yishin had a strong sense of pride, as though he was wrapped in a hard shell, refusing to get close to others or accept their kindness. He must have been hurt a lot. How could such a young boy have so many stories? Su Nuoshue's heart ached as she looked at him. Millimeter. Yishin felt his face heat up. This auntie was so beautiful and so kind. He shouldn't have been distrustful of her. I understand now, Auntie, Yishan said. He sat up, put on his sneakers, and bent down to tie his shoes. Oh. Sure enough, his injuries hurt when he moved too much, especially his elbows. I'll help you, Su Nuo said. She smoothed out her tight skirt and slowly knelt down. Her delicate fingers tied the laces into a bow, then she looked up at Yishan with eyes full of tenderness. Yishan's face turned bright red. He had never been cared for like this before. Big sister, you don't have to do this. Chapter 3, Show off a little. Millimeter. Su Nuo tucked her hair behind her ear, smiling lightly. I'm much older than you, so it's only natural for me to take care of you. Yishan took a deep breath and turned his face away. Although this big sister was 30, she had never been in a relationship. There were things she probably didn't understand. She wasn't like An Meng, who had slept with so many men. Big sister, it's men who should take care of women, age doesn't matter, Yishan said. Really? Su Nuo smiled as she tied Yishan's other shoelace. You're quite responsible. Whoever becomes your girlfriend will be lucky. Yishan lightly snorted. As for a girlfriend, he might not look for one again. His heart was already broken. Without a girlfriend or family, maybe it was best to live a life of solitude. Big sister, you're so wonderful. Whoever becomes your husband would be lucky, Yishan said. Such a good woman, it's a shame she doesn't have a husband to take care of her. Su Nuo stood up and stretched lazily, her good figure completely on display. Yishan froze, staring for a few seconds, then quickly averted his gaze. This woman was really too beautiful. If he didn't have enough self-control, he might lose himself. Su Nuo raised her arm and ruffled Yishan's hair. Love between adults isn't that simple or pure. You don't understand at your age. A woman as excellent as her actually had trouble finding a boyfriend. As the heiress of a rich family, beautiful, with a great figure, many men pursued her. But those men either wanted her money or her looks, with no real love involved. Su Nuo was a perfectionist and wouldn't easily give herself away. Year after year, she remained single. Now, at 30, she was no longer a girl, but not quite yet a mature woman either. Yishan snorted. Actually, at 18, he was an adult, and there were many things he understood. Especially with how advanced the internet was today. Whenever he browsed websites, certain ads kept popping up. If he still called himself a naive boy, that would be far too fake. He hadn't been with a girl, but that didn't mean he didn't understand. Big sister. Yishan slightly raised his head and locked eyes with Su Nuo. Her gaze was full of affection, making his heart race. What is it? Su Nuo smiled sweetly, revealing a little fang. At 30, her face was wrinkle-free, full of collagen. Sometimes, it even gave the illusion that she was still a young girl. She was ripe, yet still fresh and full, the most captivating kind of beauty. Big sister, you're so beautiful. Someone your age should be with a young man, like a puppy or a college student, Yishan said. He was being sincere. The greasy uncles could barely walk a few steps without gasping for breath. They didn't deserve a beautiful woman like her. Millimeter. Su Nuo tilted her head, raised her hand, and lightly flicked Yishan's forehead. Half smiling, half reproachful, she said, "You naughty boy Tilder." Yishan rubbed his forehead. I'm serious. Older men are cunning. A young man is more sincere and could truly care for you. Is that so? Su Nuo's eyelashes fluttered. I'll think about it. Yishan stood up, towering over Su Nuo by a head. As he lowered his head, he almost saw something he shouldn't have. He rubbed his nose and mumbled, "Big sister, you might want to be careful." Su Nuo instinctively reached for her skirt. Su Nuo got busy, and Yishan added, "Oh, I meant above." Su Nuo quickly covered her chest, her face flushing red. Thankfully, no one else was around, or they might have thought she was flirting with a younger guy. After all, she was 30, and Yishan was only 18. 18-year-old boys wouldn't have bad intentions toward a woman in her 30s, would they? Su Nuo pulled up her collar and said to Yishan, "Come with me to the garage to get the car." Yishan swallowed. A woman as beautiful as this, with such a figure, no matter how thick her clothes were, it still screamed sex appeal. Beauty came from the bones, not just the skin. Su Nuo Shue's sports car was red, eye-catching, and fit her glamorous aura perfectly. It had rained that day, and Yishin hadn't seen it clearly. But today, he could. He recognized the logo. It was a luxury car, worth millions at least. He couldn't help but laugh silently. He was hit by such an expensive car and didn't die, just got a few minor injuries. He was really lucky. Su Nuo Shue opened the car door and motioned for Yishin to get in. Yishin sat in the passenger seat, took a deep breath, and said, "Big sister, drive carefully." Su Nuo Shue made an okay gesture and pressed the gas pedal. The sports car sped up, the windows were down, and Su Nuo Shue's long hair flew in the wind, brushing against Yishin's face, which felt ticklish. Su Nuo Shue drove fast, slamming on the brakes without any hesitation. One wrong move, and it would have thrown them both out of the car. Yishin realized why he had been hit. Thank goodness she still knew how to brake. Su Nuo Shue pressed the brakes and, with her hand on the gearshift, looked at Yishin with a smile, asking, "Little brother, do you have a driver's license?" Yes, Yishin nodded. Not bad. You have a driver's license at such a young age. How about next time you take me for a ride? Su Nuo Shue asked. Yishin gripped the seatbelt tightly. Sure. Deal, Su Nuo Shue secretly smiled. For some reason, she actually enjoyed spending time with this little brother. Finally, they arrived at Su Nuo Shue's villa. The villa was several hundred square meters, and though it was luxuriously decorated, it felt very empty, lacking any warmth or liveliness. You don't need to be so formal. I live alone, and no one visits except for the maid who comes once a week to clean, Su Nuo Shue said to Yishin. Millimeter. Yishin nodded and then asked, "Big sister, have you always lived alone?" I've lived alone since I graduated from college. It's been many years now, Su Nuo Shue replied casually. Yishin pressed his lips together, feeling a little emotional. A woman could live alone, so as a man, he shouldn't be afraid of being alone either. Since his family didn't want him, then he didn't need them either. And his so-called family wouldn't even provide him with living expenses. So what difference did it make? There's a spare room here, Su Nuo Shue called out to Yishin. Take a look. I'm fine with anything, Yishin said. After all, it was just temporary. There was nothing to be picky about. Then rest for a while. I'll go make dinner for you, Su Nuo Shue said with a smile. Big sister, can you cook? Yishin asked. Su Nuo Shue looked up. What? Do I not look like I can? Yishin pressed his lips together. It was obvious that Su Nuo Shue was wealthy. People like her usually hired maids or ate out, so it wasn't common for them to cook themselves. And nowadays, most girls didn't know how to cook. Yishin could cook, as he had always made the family meals. So, to him, it didn't matter if a girl couldn't cook. He could take care of his girlfriend very well. He didn't want anything except a little love. But that little love had become a luxury. Su Nuo Shue smiled gently. Actually, I quite enjoy cooking. Normally, I don't cook because I'm alone, but since you're here today, I'll definitely show off a little tilde. Chapter 4, I'm fine with anything. Don't trouble yourself, sister. I'm fine with just some instant noodles, Yishin said. Suddenly, someone was being so kind to him, and he felt uneasy. He'd been hurt too many times and always felt he didn't deserve such kindness. Su Nuo Shue smiled gently, instant noodles won't do. I'll cook. You wait here quietly. If you're bored, you can watch cartoons. Yishin paused but said nothing. He was an adult now and didn't watch cartoons anymore. Occasionally, he even watched action movies. This older sister still treated him like a child. But he knew he was already a man. Su Nuo Shue entered the kitchen and found there was little food in the fridge, only a lobster and a few eggs. After thinking for a moment, she steamed the lobster and made a tomato scrambled eggs dish. It was an odd combination, and she wasn't sure if the younger brother would like it. The house felt a little less lonely with him living there. Su Nuo Shue enjoyed the change. She was afraid of the dark and usually slept with the lights on. Today, with someone else in the house, she didn't feel so scared. The feeling of companionship was nice. She brought the food to the dining table and called out to Yishin. He had fallen into a light sleep after his breakup and the accident. He was exhausted. Little brother. Sunyuoshua gently patted Yishin's cheek. Don't leave me. Yishin muttered in his sleep. Her heart softened. Don't be afraid. I won't abandon you. Yishin woke up suddenly, rubbing his eyes. Sunyuoshua, looking so beautiful and fragrant, was standing in front of him. He was at a loss for words, unsure how to respond. It was just a nightmare, but that didn't mean he wasn't a strong person. Sister, wash your hands and come eat, Sunyuoshua said gently. Okay, Yishin nodded. In this unfamiliar place, he felt a little awkward. At the sink, there was an orange hand soap. After washing his hands, the strong fragrance filled the air, almost overwhelming him. When he realized it was Hermes, he couldn't help but think of An Meng, who loved Hermes and its luxury products. Yishin had wanted to save up for an Hermes gift for An Meng, but before he could, An Meng had slept with someone else and gotten pregnant. How ridiculous, he thought. The fragrance of the soap lingered, making him feel uncomfortable, and he instinctively shook his hands. Sunyuoshua noticed and asked softly, Does your hand hurt? No, it's just too fragrant, Yishin awkwardly said. Maybe it was because he was used to simpler scents, like the smell of Lifebuoy soap. This hand soap. I just picked it up at the store. If you don't like it, I can switch it, Sunyuoshua offered. No, Yishin quickly waved his hand. He was just temporarily staying here, not wanting to overstep. Sister, you can use whatever you like. I'm fine with anything, Yishin said with a polite smile. His obedient demeanor only made Sunyuoshua's fondness for him grow. She smiled warmly and said, Everything is meant to serve the person. If you don't like it, I'll change it. I want you to feel comfortable living here. Thank you, sister, Yishin said, moved, not knowing what else to say. He had never been treated this way before. His foster parents never cared what he liked, they just pushed him to compete for prizes to help support the family. An Meng didn't care either. She had only ever treated him like a tool, useful when needed. All right, come eat, Sunyuoshua said, pulling out a chair for him. Yishin sat up straight, and seeing the young man's serious expression, Sunyuoshua couldn't help but smile. He took a few bites of the scrambled eggs with tomatoes. They were tangy and sweet, surprisingly delicious. Sunyuoshua glanced at him secretly. When she saw he hadn't touched the lobster, she asked, What's wrong? Don't you like lobster? I've never eaten it before. I don't know how to eat it, Yishin said honestly. Sunyuoshua, however, misinterpreted this. The poor younger brother, both insecure and strong, how could she not feel sympathy? I'll peel it for you, she said, picking up the lobster and carefully peeling it. In the past, An Meng had told him that boys should peel shrimp for girls. But now, it seemed that wasn't always the case. Sister, can girls take care of boys too? Yishin asked suddenly. The unexpected question caught Sunyuoshua off guard. She smiled and gently replied, I'm older than you, so of course, I take care of you. Nowadays, girls can be very proud, so it's normal for boys to take care of them more. But if a woman really likes a man, she will willingly cook and wash clothes for him. Yishin looked up at her. Really? Of course. These things are nothing. When a woman falls in love with a man, she'll do anything for him. She might even want to have children with him. Sunyuoshua's eyes sparkled as she spoke, sounding almost like a young girl herself. Deep down, she longed for love too. Yishin almost dropped his chopsticks. Somehow, what was a simple conversation felt so alluring coming from her, striking deep into his heart. Perhaps this was the special charm of a mature woman. Here, it's peeled, Sunyuoshua said, placing the lobster into Yishin's bowl. Yishin took a bite but didn't find it particularly delicious. Is it good? Sunyuoshua asked expectantly. It's good. You cook very well, sister, Yishin said seriously. He was sure he didn't like lobster much, but he didn't want to hurt her feelings. A little white lie kept the peace. Sunyuoshua seemed relieved. I'm glad. I was worried you wouldn't like it. I like it, Yishin said as naturally as possible. They had finished eating when the doorbell rang. Sunyuoshua got up to answer it, and Yishin's gaze followed her. Living in a big house wasn't always great. It took a while to walk to the door. He sniffed the air and thought, when he was able to buy his own house in the future, he'd settle for a small 50-60 square meter one. Then he'd find a simple girl, have a child, and live happily as a family of 3. Soon Nuoshue returned with a package, placing it on the table. She smiled and said, "Your phone broke, so I bought you a new one." Yishin only realized he hadn't checked his phone in hours. It didn't matter. No one was trying to contact him anyway. Soon Nuoshue used scissors to cut open the outer box, revealing the actual phone package inside. Yishin glanced at it. It was a flagship model from a well-known brand. "Your phone was broken, but your SIM card is still fine. Just put it in the new phone," Sunuoshua said. "Okay," Yishin nodded. Sunuoshua was thoughtful and gentle, unlike the girls he had met before. The new phone was incredibly smooth, and Yishin couldn't stop holding it. After all, he was only 18 and still loved gadgets. Sunuoshua gazed at Yishin with soft eyes, biting her lip slightly. "Put my number in your phone, too." Chapter 5, Thoughts Disturbed. "If I have something to do, I won't be able to stay with you all the time. If you need me, just call me," Sunuoshua said. Okay, Yishin entered Sunuoshua's number into his phone. This was the first number saved on his new phone. As for the others, there was no need to contact them, there was no point. He was heartbroken, and that was enough. The first thing a lovesick dog does is detach itself. "Sister, what's your name?" Yishin asked. He needed to save a name. Could he just mark her as Big Sister or Beautiful Mature Woman? He definitely couldn't write Old Auntie. Sunuo Shue, Su from Sujo, Nuo as in soft glutinous, and Shue as in snow, Sunuo Shue said with a charming smile. Her voice was so enchanting, and in Yishin's mind, an image of a soft, white rice ball appeared, almost as if someone wanted to bite into it and taste what it was like. Yishin quickly snapped himself out of it, shaking his head. "Sister, your name is very nice." Sunuo Shue smiled slightly. "I think so too." Many people had complimented her name, but Sunuo Shue always thought they were just flattering her. Yishin, however, looked at her with genuine eyes. If she had met someone like him 10 years ago, she would have fallen for him without a second thought. But now, at 30, she could only see him as a younger brother. If she entertained any other thoughts, it would be like an older cow eating young grass. They watched TV together for a while. Sunuo Shue stood up and said casually, "I'm going to take a shower now, and then I'll sleep. At my age, I can't stay up too late." "You shouldn't stay up too late either." Millimeter, Yishin nodded. He was living at Sunuo Shue's place now, and though he was a guest, he didn't want to interfere with her routine. Sunuo Shue took a few steps, then looked back at Yishin. He was sitting upright on the sofa. Her heart skipped a beat. Her usually calm heart had been disturbed by this younger brother. It was so strange. After taking off her clothes and soaking in the bathtub, Sunuo Shue stretched and enjoyed the warm water, feeling as though she were being held in someone's arms. She slowly closed her eyes, but thoughts of Yishin kept coming to her mind. This little brother was making her flustered. After her shower, Sunuo Shue wrapped herself in a towel, her hair damp and hanging in front of her chest. She looked like a delicate flower glistening with dew, seductive in an unspoken way. But who was there to admire such beauty? It felt like a delicious meal no one would come to taste futile. When she stepped out, Yishin had already fallen asleep on the sofa. Looking at Yishin's sleeping form, Sunuo Shue couldn't resist gently touching his cheek. Yishin was very handsome, just her type. If it weren't for the age gap, she might have already made a move. But reality didn't allow her to be bold. Even if she had any thoughts, Yishin, being so young, wouldn't like a woman like her, much less an older one. Sunuo Shue sighed lightly. Her breath, like a spring breeze, brushed across Yishin's face. He tightly closed his eyes, not daring to open them. Though the age gap was large, they were both adults. And she was a beautiful woman, while he was a young man, filled with youthful desire. It was impossible not to notice. Sunuo Shue, wrapped in only a towel, felt conflicted. She was afraid that Yishin might see her inappropriate appearance, but also feared that he wouldn't see her seductive form at all. Why was she feeling like this? Was she becoming a perverted woman? Or, like some people said, did women at 30 become especially hungry for love? Yishin cautiously opened his eyes just a crack. From this angle, he could see Sunuo Shue's feet, small, translucent toes, like milk-flavored jelly, with red nail polish that looked like fruity accents. Su Nuoshue was truly a stunning beauty. Yishin quickly closed his eyes again, pretending to sleep. He didn't know that beads of sweat were already forming on his forehead. Su Nuoshue, with the back of her hand, gently wiped the sweat from Yishin's forehead. Yishin's heart raced until she finally left. Once she was gone, the lingering fragrance didn't dissipate. Yishin thought, when he was capable, he would find a girlfriend like Su Nuoshue. Even if she was not as perfect as her, it wouldn't matter. After seeing Su Nuoshue's figure and looks, he couldn't help but feel that his past judgment of people, especially his ex, was so off. An Meng was also beautiful, the school's belle, but Su Nuoshue was different. Su Nuoshue was an elegant and exceptional woman. Yishin quickly took a shower and went to the room Su Nuoshue had prepared for him. Lying on the bed, the blanket felt light and soft. A thought crossed his mind: if only Su Nuoshue was really his sister. If they were siblings, they would rely on each other. How wonderful would that be? But now, he was just staying temporarily, 1 or 2 months at most. The thought made him feel a little sad. Losing family, losing his first love, was there anything in this world that remained stable? If he had a wife? If Su Nuoshue were his wife, the more he thought about it, the more he imagined. After overthinking, he finally fell asleep. The next morning, Su Nuoshue woke up early. With someone new in the house, she felt secure and slept soundly. If she were on her own, she would skip breakfast, but now that the younger brother was here, she couldn't slack off on meals. Su Nuoshue went to the kitchen, fried an egg, heated some milk, and set the table. She knocked on Yishin's room door. Hearing the knock, Yishin hurriedly got up, quickly putting on his clothes. "Okay, I'm getting up to work," he said. "Work? What work?" Su Nuoshue chuckled as she opened the door. "Breakfast is ready, come eat." Yishin opened his eyes. It was Su Nuoshue, wearing a pink silk nightgown that perfectly outlined her figure and enhanced her femininity. Yishin sighed, thinking he was back at his old home. Every morning, he would have to get up and do chores for his foster parents, cooking, washing clothes before going to school. He had done it without complaints for many years. But in the end, his foster parents didn't want him anymore. "Sis Nuoshue, I'll wash my face and be right there," Yishin said. Yishin splashed cold water on his face, trying to wake up. Being cared for felt really good, very warm, but everything had its time limit. Su Nuoshue couldn't be with him forever. He didn't want to let himself get addicted to it. Yishin went to the table and saw Su Nuoshue drinking something dark. "Do you drink cola in the morning?" Yishin asked. Su Nuoshue smiled and sipped. "It's not cola, it's black coffee. Black coffee is the taste of an adult. Want to try?" "No thanks," Yishin shook his head. Afraid of the bitterness. Su Nuoshue's playful and flirtatious gaze sparked a competitive streak in Yishin. "I'm not afraid of bitterness, I'll drink it," he said, grabbing the coffee cup and drinking it all at once. It was sour, bitter, and astringent. Truly, the taste of an adult. Su Nuoshue smiled and looked at him, teasing, "Does drinking from the same cup count as an indirect kiss?" Chapter 6: Innocent Little Boy. Yishin's hands trembled. He had never kissed a girl before. But why did Sister Nuoshue say such a thing? This did not match her elegant and charming temperament. Su Nuoshue chuckled, "Look how scared you are. I didn't expect you were still an innocent little boy." It turned out that she was teasing him like a child. Yishin was not convinced. "Sister Nuoshue, I am 18 years old and a man." Su Nuoshue smiled again. "Have you ever slept with a girl? If not, you are just a little boy, a virgin." Yishin was very unconvinced and said with his neck stiff, "Have you ever slept with a man? If not, you can't be considered a woman." This time it was Su Nuoshue's turn to be embarrassed. She twitched her hair uncomfortably and changed the subject with a dodgy look, "Drink milk. I specially heated the milk for you." Yishin also regretted it a little. He knew that Su Nuoshue had never had a boyfriend, but he still said such things. It really hurt her self-esteem. So he quickly tried to make up for it. "Well, what I mean is that you are a good woman who keeps herself clean." Su Nuoshue was laughed at. "Little brother, you are quite sweet. Then let me ask you, do you like women who keep themselves clean or women who are fickle?" Yishin swallowed his saliva. "Of course I like women who keep themselves clean." Su Nuoshue lowered his head and smiled secretly. After the two had breakfast, Sunyoshua said to Yishin, "Little brother, I will take you to buy some clothes." Yishin looked at his old clothes and felt a little inferior in his heart. Except for his youth, he seemed to have nothing. But youth is the greatest asset, don't bully the poor young people. Yishin took a deep breath. "No, I have money to buy it myself." Sunyoshua tilted her head and smiled. "I know, I just want to buy it for you. Don't get me wrong, I just treat you as a little brother. I am the only daughter in the family and have always been lonely, so I especially hope to have a little brother. It is also a kind of fate that we can meet." After saying that, Sunyoshua took a deep breath. She could only treat Yishin as a little brother. After all, the age difference between the two was too big, and she still had some self-knowledge. Yishin glanced at Sunyoshua and smiled cheerfully. "I also think you are like my family." Sunyoshua felt warm in her heart. Getting along with Yishin made her happy, so it didn't matter how much money she spent. She was the heir of the richest man, and she had endless money to spend, but she couldn't find a sincere person. In her opinion, having someone by her side was more important than how much money she had. Yishin followed Sunyoshua all the time. Sunyoshua turned back and smiled at him, then held his hand. Sunyoshua's hand was soft, and at that moment, Yishin couldn't help but think wildly. He thought, it would be nice if it was his girlfriend who was holding his hand. Sunyoshua was his girlfriend, and she seemed pretty good. She had a perfect figure and a gentle personality. Even if she was older than him, he didn't really care, she was only 12 years old. After all, Sunyoshua was still a blank sheet of paper, while many young girls were already newspapers. Thinking about it, he was fascinated. "Hey, why are your palms sweating? Does the wound hurt?" Sunyoshua asked with concern. Yishin's heartbeat quickened, and he didn't dare to reveal his thoughts. How could he casually desecrate such a beautiful woman? But he didn't think he did anything wrong. Adolescent boys would have all kinds of ideas in their minds, and the heroine was not fixed. Today it was Sunyoshua, maybe tomorrow it would be someone else. "Oh, yes, the wound still hurts a little," Yishin said. Sunyoshua's car was a sports car, and it was not like to hit someone, and even if it was a minor injury, it would take some time to recover. "I'm so sorry, Tilda," Sunyoshua pouted and said with a guilty face. "It's okay, I'm a man, men shed blood and sweat but not tears, this little injury is nothing," Yishin said. Physical injuries are really nothing, the wounds in the heart are hard to cure. Sunyoshua looked at Yishin with moist eyes, she really felt sorry for this little brother. "Where does it hurt?" "I'll help you blow it," Sunyoshua said softly. "Blow it?" Yishin's eyes were a little distracted. "No need. Too intimate. This ambiguous atmosphere makes people feel overwhelmed." Sunyoshua smiled. "You little boys are just pretending to be strong, why are you being polite to me?" Sunyoshua glanced and saw that Yishin had a wound on his arm, so she bent her knees slightly and blew gently on Yishin's wound a few times. The warm air fell on his skin, and Yishin was stunned. This kind of femininity is really fascinating. So men need women, because people also need men. The harmony of yin and yang is the best. If Yishin is a scumbag, he will definitely try his best to sleep with Sunyoshua, then abandon her, and then find a younger girlfriend. But he is a good man, he will not do that. And in his opinion, whether it is a boy or a girl, you can't give yourself up easily. Although emotional feelings are uncontrollable, reason still has the upper hand. "Sister Nyoshua, don't blow it, I don't feel pain," Yishin said. Sunyoshua smiled. "Okay, Tilda." Then she took Yishin's hand very naturally. Although the little brother is only 18 years old, he already feels very manly. The little brother's hands are much bigger than her own hands, and he can easily wrap her little hands in them. Sunyoshua likes to hold Yishin's hand, which gives her the illusion of being in love. The age gap between the two is too big, she understands. If they can get along like this for a while, and be slightly ambiguous, Sunyoshua will also think it's worth it. As for other things, I dare not think too much. The two walked hand in hand on the street, and the rate of turning heads was very high. To passers-by, they were a couple. There were quite a lot of people in the mall. Sunyoshua took Yishin and walked into a men's clothing store. "Welcome," the clerk greeted enthusiastically. Sunyoshua raised an eyebrow at Yishin, and then said to the clerk, "Please take out all the new styles in the store and have a look." The clerk saw that there were many people, and naturally could see that Sunyuoshue was very rich, so he became more enthusiastic, and smiled so hard that his mouth was about to stretch to the back of his head. "Miss, your boyfriend is so handsome, he must look very handsome in anything he wears." Sunyuoshue smiled and did not deny, "Yes, my boyfriend is the most handsome." Yishin felt very guilty. How could he be Sunyuoshue's boyfriend? But Sunyuoshue must have her own reasons for saying so. Maybe there is a discount for couples. Yishin went to the fitting room to change clothes. After changing clothes and coming out, Sunyuoshue and the clerk were both impressed by his handsomeness. 1.8 meters tall, straight figure, just like a boy band member, but more manly than a boy band member. Seeing that the clerk was about to drool, Sunyuoshue was a little jealous and quickly stood in front of Yishin. "Take this set and go. Please pack the other ones of the same size for me and swipe the card." "Sister Nuoshue, don't buy so much," Yishin said. Sunyuoshue smiled. "You need a few changes, Tilder." "Sister Nuoshue." Yishin was about to say, but saw a familiar figure. It was An Meng, and she was holding an old man. An Meng was originally smiling, but when she saw Yishin, her expression froze. Sunyuoshue just came out after paying and held Yishin's hand again. An Meng's heart seemed to be stabbed. Does Yishin have a girlfriend? His girlfriend is so beautiful. But Yishin clearly said that he likes her. What's the matter? An Meng's nose was sour and tears flowed. Why are you crying? The old man asked An Meng. Touched. An Meng sobbed, "Brother, you bought me clothes, I am so touched, you are the best husband, Tilder." The old man laughed. Yishin felt sick. This is the girl he liked before, so disgusting, really disgusting. "Let's go." Yishin held Sunyuoshue tightly. Sunyuoshue's heart was pounding. Yeah. Chapter 7. You are just right. Sunyuoshue was in a state of anxiety, hesitated for a long time, and asked, "Do you know that girl just now?" Yishin paused. Knowing that Sunyuoshue was asking An Meng. Although the two did not say hello, they were staring at each other for so long, they must not be strangers. Sunyuoshue is already 30 years old, how could she not see this little trick? Yeah, she is the girl I liked before. Yishin answered truthfully. Sunyuoshue's eyes dimmed. The girl just now was really young, she looked only 18 or 19 years old. And she is already an old woman. Eat fresh fruits, and women are naturally better when they are young. Although she knew that there was no possibility for her and Yishin, Sunyuoshue still couldn't help feeling uncomfortable. I haven't liked her for a long time, Yishin said leisurely. Really? Sunyuoshue's eyes lit up. I also think she is not worthy of you, especially what she said just now. I don't know how many men she has slept with. Yeah. Yishin rubbed his forehead and said contemptuously, I know. Sunyuoshue snickered. It seems that the little brother really doesn't like that girl. Sunyuoshue held her chin and said charmingly, You will meet more good women in the future, maybe there will be women who like you around you. Yishin pursed his lips, maybe. In fact, he no longer believes in love. Seeing that Yishin was still unhappy, Sunyuoshue said, Would you like a cup of coffee? Yishin hesitated, I'm not used to coffee, how about Coke? Life is already too bitter, he just wants to drink something sweet. But will Sunyuoshue like Coke at this age? Sure Tilder, Sunyuoshue smiled charmingly, fried chicken with cola, right? Yes. Yishin nodded repeatedly, it's fried chicken with cola. Sunyuoshue looked at Yishin with a smile, and couldn't help but touch his head, little brother, so cute. Yishin curled his lips and said with a little dissatisfaction, I'm not cute, I'm a man. Sunyuoshue touched him again, men are also cute Tilder. Yishin. Really, how can I let Sunyuoshue know that I'm a man? The two went to the store and ordered fried chicken and cola. Yishin took a big sip of cola, worthy of being called happy water, and felt that his whole mood improved. The fried chicken just out of the pan was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, and it was juicy when you bite it. After eating for a few minutes, I found that Sunyuoshue didn't eat a bite. Sister Nuoshue, why don't you eat? Yishin asked. Sunyuoshue lifted her hair, it's too high in calories. You'll get fat if you eat it. Yishin took a bite of fried chicken and muttered, but you're a little chubby. Sunyuoshue's face flushed and she argued, No, I just look fat because I have big breasts and a big butt. In fact, my waist and legs are still very thin. Yishin sniffed. Yeah, you should be called plump. Sunyuoshua lightly hit Yishin. You little brat, plump also means fat. Yishin almost choked and coughed lightly. Men like your figure. It's very comfortable to hug. Sunyuoshua snorted. Really? Yeah, what's the point of being all bones? Yishin said. Sunyuoshua smiled. She also felt that her figure was pretty good, with breasts and butts, and her skin was white and smooth. If she were a man, she would also fall in love with her. Sunyuoshua glanced at Yishin and asked charmingly, Do you like my figure too? I like it. Yishin blurted out. Who wouldn't like Sunyuoshua's perfect figure? There's no need to pretend. Sunyuoshua's face flushed, and she took a sip of ice cola. Then I won't lose weight. What weight do you want to lose? You are just right. I'll give you fried chicken. Yishin handed a piece of fried chicken to Sunyuoshua. Sunyuoshua took a bite and felt that the chicken was very tender and fragrant. Sunyuoshua licked her lips. So tender tilder. Yishin nodded and said, Of course it's tender, who wants to eat old bacon? Sunyuoshua's heart moved, then she curled her lips and said, Well, I want to eat tender ones. In fact, the little brother is also good, and the most important thing is that she likes him. I just don't know if the little brother will dislike her. Sunyuoshua looked straight at Yishin. The more she looked, the more she liked him. She has a lot of money, so much that she can't spend it all, so naturally she doesn't need to find a rich man. As long as the person she likes stays with her all the time, it's fine. She doesn't mind men being gigolos. And this little brother is only 18 years old and has no ability to make a living. It's windy and rough outside, and it's safest and best for the little brother to stay with her. After eating and drinking, Sunyuoshua said, I want to buy a few more stockings. Okay. Yishin nodded. He saw that Sunyuoshua likes to wear stockings very much. Mature women should like to wear stockings. Also, I'll buy you a few more underwear. Sunyuoshua said again. Yishin widened his eyes. Underwear. Well, there must be a few to change. Sunyuoshua said very naturally. Yishin licked his lips, not knowing what to say. Sunyuoshua's care for him was really thoughtful. Just like a girlfriend, just like a wife, considerate. Get used to this kind of care, and there will definitely be withdrawal reactions on the day you move out. Alas. Thinking of this, Yishin began to feel uncomfortable. Maybe loneliness is the norm of life. What brand of underwear do you like to wear? Sunyuoshua asked Yishin. No brand. Yishin was a little embarrassed. He has been wearing 3 pairs of street goods for 10 yuan since he was a child. Moreover, they are new for 3 years and old for 3 years, and they are not changed even if they are worn out. His adoptive parents are unwilling to spend money on him. And his own scholarship has long been embezzled by his adoptive parents. Okay, then Balenciaga, I want to buy Balenciaga anyway. Sunyuoshua said with a smile. Is Balenciaga good? Yishin asked. Sunyuoshua raised her eyebrows. Charming. Compared to Balenciaga, she is more looking forward to falling in love. Unfortunately, she didn't wait until she was 30. Yishin swallowed his saliva. Sunyuoshua is indeed very charming. No matter what she wears, she is charming. Let's go tilde. Sunyuoshua took Yishin's hand again. Yishin's heart was suddenly in a mess. What if he continued like this and fell in love with Sunyuoshua? Chapter 8 Little brother, are you satisfied? Yishin took a deep breath and didn't dare to think too much. Love is not a simple matter, and he is not a person who plays around casually. For him, if he gets involved, he must take responsibility. He can afford it, but can Sunyuoshua afford it? As soon as he walked into the Balenciaga store, Yishin was stunned. He met An Meng again, and that wretched old man. The two hugged each other in the store. The scene was very hot, and the clerks were embarrassed. Yishin was upset. What happened today, this shit luck? Seeing that Yishin didn't leave, Sunyuoshua pulled him, little brother tilde. Yishin pursed his lips, I don't want to go in. Sunyuoshua raised her chin and glanced at An Meng and the old man. Because of them? Yishin remained silent. No matter how sober he was, he would still be affected by An Meng. Seeing the girl he liked for so long degenerate, this feeling was really uncomfortable, just like eating a toad. Nausea, but unable to spit it out, stuck in the throat. Seeing Yishin not speaking, Sunyuoshua felt indescribably uncomfortable. The little brother was like this, it was really heartbreaking. She must help the little brother out with this anger. As long as she was there, no one would be allowed to bully the little brother. Sunyuoshua hugged Yishin's arm and pressed against Yishin. Her body was soft and fragrant. Such a simple action made Yishin's heart a mess. It was too close and seemed very ambiguous. Sunyuoshua was so beautiful that she would attract attention wherever she went. Even if she didn't say a word, she was still the focus of the whole audience. An Meng first glanced at Yishin, then at Sunyuoshua. She bit her lip, and the expression on her face was extremely sad. She couldn't accept Yishin finding a girlfriend, let alone that Yishin's girlfriend was so beautiful. Yishin was so good to her before, how could he change just like that? This is too bad. Although she had someone else's child, as long as Yishin recognized it, it would be fine. What does it matter whether they are biological children or not? If Yishin loves her, he should love all of her. No matter what, she will seduce Yishin back. An Meng licked her lips, twisted her body, smiled at Yishin very coquettishly, and said in a coquettish manner, "Yishin, is she your sister? I never knew you had a sister." An Meng's coquettish look made Sunyuoshua very disgusted. Seducing the old man, and seducing the little brother. How can you be so cheap? I'm not his sister, I'm his girlfriend. Sunyuoshua said proudly. Yishin reacted instantly and cooperated directly. Yes, Shueshua is my girlfriend. Who is the old man next to you? Your father or your grandfather? Hearing Yishin call her Shueshua, Sunyuoshua's body trembled for a while, and soon regained her composure. Why is this little brother so seductive? An Meng's face turned red, and he said in anger, "Don't be nonsense, this is my boyfriend." The old man squinted his eyes and looked at An Meng. The material is sexy and beautiful. As long as the man can't help but look at it, let alone the evil ghost like the old man. Yishin's anger came up and raised his fist, and he couldn't wait to beat the old man immediately. Sunyuoshua stopped Yishin, and then said to the old man sarcastically, "Going to bed every day, can your old bones bear it?" The old man laughed shamelessly, "I'm afraid you can't bear it." Sunyuoshua shook her hair, "Okay, give me your business card." He, okay. The old man thought he had succeeded, and happily took out the business card, and the flesh on his belly was still trembling. Yishin looked at Sunyuoshua in disbelief. He knew that Sunyuoshua was very rich, and 20,000 yuan a month was not worth it. So what on earth was she going to do? Brother Tilder and Meng took the opportunity to hug the old man. "You only give me 10,000 yuan a month, why give her 20,000? Yishin took a breath of cold air. It turned out that 10,000 yuan a month could buy An Meng. What was his previous efforts? It was really ridiculous. The old man pushed An Meng away and shouted angrily, "You are not worth even 10,000 a month. I am tired of you now." An Meng immediately looked at Sunyuoshua with hatred. He gritted his teeth and said, "You want to steal my business? I tell you, this money is not so easy to earn. This old man can torture you to death. Not only that, he will also make you accompany others. Be a third party." Sunyuoshua sneered, "Can you bear it?" An Meng was angry, "You?" The old man pushed An Meng away, "Little bitch, get out of here." Then he handed the business card to Sunyuoshua with a lustful look, "Don't listen to this little bitch nonsense, I promise to make you ecstasy." Sunyuoshua snorted and took a picture of the business card. "In 10 minutes, you will go bankrupt." "What did you say?" the old man asked. "Didn't you hear clearly? I said you will go bankrupt in 10 minutes. Sunyuoshua repeated it again, her tone calm but full of sarcasm. "Your small company will soon be surrounded by business. If I were you, I would go back now and see if I can pick up some paper shells, at least I can make up for some losses." "I don't believe it." Although the old man was stubborn, he immediately called his secretary. "What? You said the company's capital chain was broken." "Fuck. The company went bankrupt." "Impossible, absolutely impossible." The old man slumped on the ground like a dead pig. Sunyuoshua lightly clicked his tongue, then smiled and asked Yishin, "Little brother, are you satisfied with this result? It is worth it to make a company bankrupt and make the little brother happy." Yishin pursed his lips and said with emotion, "Sister Nuoshua, you are really amazing. What kind of means is it to make a company bankrupt within 10 minutes? Sunyuoshua smiled and said softly, "Actually, I am also a little woman. You will know if you learn more about it." The old man went bankrupt and the sponsor was gone. An Meng was panicked. She rushed over, hugged Yishin's thighs, and cried and acted like a spoiled child. Yishin, please love me tilde. Yishin, go away. Chapter 9 First Kiss. Only the feet know whether the shoes are comfortable or not. The most important thing is to find a pair of comfortable shoes. But Yishin is only 18 years old. He is so young that he certainly won't want a pair of broken shoes. Just thinking about it makes him feel sick. Even if An Meng cries and begs again, what will happen? He will not be soft-hearted. I won't go away. Yishin, can we be together? I have aborted that child. There is no obstacle between us. An Meng cried and said. You can abort your own child. You are so cruel. Yishin gritted his teeth and said. People like An Meng have a messy private life. After getting pregnant, they cruelly abort it. People like this are not worthy of being a mother or a human being. You don't recognize that child, so of course I aborted it. An Meng said righteously. It's not my child. Why should I recognize it? Yishin retorted loudly. He will definitely not wear this green hat. An Meng wiped her tears and said with squinting eyes, Yishin, haven't you always liked me? Let's forget about the past. Sunyuoshua looked at Yishin nervously. She was so afraid that Yishin would agree. She didn't have to monopolize Yishin, but she felt that if her little brother was with such a girl, his life would be ruined. A clean little boy deserves better. If An Meng said this before, Yishin might agree. A licker can lick anything. But now, Yishin has seen through An Meng and he has long been discouraged. An Meng keeps sleeping with men, why should he wait there? This is too unfair. Save it, I don't like you anymore. No matter what you do, the past can't be erased. Yishin said. In fact, when he said these words, he was still a little sad. But he couldn't be soft-hearted. As long as he was a little soft-hearted, he would immediately become a licker. Men still have to have some dignity. An Meng stood there in a daze. She had obviously given in so much, why was Yishin so ungrateful? It shouldn't be like this. Yishin had never liked anyone before, how could he change his mind so quickly? An Meng bit her lip, her big eyes full of anger. She looked at Sunyuoshua angrily, and said with gritted teeth, You old woman, why do you want to snatch my boyfriend from me? Sunyuoshua was very angry, but this girl said that the little brother was her boyfriend, which made Sunyuoshua feel comfortable. If the little brother is really her boyfriend, it seems not bad. She knows that she is old, so she doesn't dare to ask for anything. It's okay to date for a while, and when the little brother has a girl he really likes, she can quit. If she really gets pregnant with the little brother's child, she can raise it herself, and the little brother doesn't need to be responsible. Sunyuoshua lifted her hair, opened her red lips, and said to An Meng contemptuously, I didn't snatch anything from you. It's because my little brother likes me and not you. You? An Meng's eyes turned red with anger. Sunyuoshua is so beautiful that An Meng, the school beauty, pales in comparison with her. She can't compare with her in figure or appearance. The only thing that can compare is age. An Meng snorted and said sarcastically, Do you really think Yishin will like you? Yishin is just playing with a young woman like you. It's impossible for a boy to like a young woman. He will dump you in the end. Sunyuoshua's heart seemed to be stabbed. Now she is 30 years old and is indeed a young woman. Age is a woman's weakness. A young woman is indeed not as valuable as a young girl. Especially when the little brother is only 18 years old, even if he doesn't say it, he will dislike her for being old in his heart. I am willing to be dumped by him. Sunyuoshua said softly. She has already let go of many things. The little brother is so young, no matter what, she will win. I am afraid that the little brother will not even cheat on her. You? An Meng stomped her feet in anger. Brother Yishin, look at her tilde. An Meng pouted and acted coquettishly with Yishin. The more she acted coquettishly, the more disgusted Yishin felt. She didn't know how many men she had slept with, yellow-haired, second-generation rich, and even old men. Yishin didn't dare to think about it. Yishin directly hugged Sunyuoshua's waist and said firmly, Shua and I are not just playing around. I really like her. Even if she is a young woman, so what? I just like young women. Sunyuoshua blushed and looked at Yishin with spring water in her eyes. She didn't know if what the little brother said was true. If it was true, it would be great. An Meng held her head and screamed, Impossible, I don't believe it. Yishin, you have liked me for 3 years, and you still like me now, right? This girl is really too difficult to deal with. Sunyuoshua is very afraid that he will snatch the little brother away. Even if it's crazy, we have to do it once. Sunyuoshua pursed her lips, and then kissed Yishin's lips directly. Yishin was completely stunned. Sunyuoshua's lips were so soft and sweet, just like strawberry jelly. Sunyuoshua's heart was thumping, and her little brother didn't reject her. The two of them kissed more and more, and An Meng fainted directly. It can't be said that she fainted because of anger. After all, An Meng had an abortion 2 days ago, and her body was weak. She was not idle after the abortion, and she fainted because of anger. Fearing that someone would die in the store, the clerk quickly called the emergency number. Until the ambulance came, Yishin and Sunyuoshua stopped kissing. Yishin felt that his entire lips were numb. Really, why did she kiss suddenly? He still had to live in Sunyuoshua's house. How could he face it in the future? Sister Nuoshua, I. Yishin's heart was pounding. If Sunyuoshua asked him to take responsibility, he would. Even if he lived in a big villa and drove a sports car, he wouldn't mind. Sunyuoshua's eyes were blurred. This was her first time kissing a man. Looking at the little brother's nervous look, it should be the first kiss. The little boy's blushing face is so cute. I really want to eat him up. Sunyuoshua pinched Yishin's face and said charmingly, "It's just a kiss, don't take it to heart." Yishin felt hot all over. Sure enough, for a 30-year-old woman, kissing is nothing. But he can't. An 18-year-old boy is in adolescence and can't stand any teasing. Yes. Sister Nuoshua doesn't seem to care. Yishin can only pretend that nothing happened. I hope I don't have a strange dream at night. An Meng was taken away by an ambulance. It's strange that when Yishin saw An Meng lying there, he didn't feel distressed at all. Sure enough, he didn't like it anymore. It turns out that the past can be blown away by the wind. Little brother Tilder, Sunyuoshua hugged Yishin's arm. Don't be in a daze, come and help me choose some Balenciaga Tilder. Yishin came back to his senses. Okay. Chapter 10. What a stinky little brother. I can't try on Paris World, so I'm always conflicted when I buy it. Now I have you to help me choose. Sunyuoshua said. Yishin nodded in agreement. Even girls have smelly feet. If everyone tries on, whose fault is it if they get dirty? Yishin sniffed and said, I see you wear black socks every day. Why don't you choose a different style? Sunyuoshua curled her lips. The little brother pays attention to her. What a stinky little brother. However, she likes. What style should I choose? Sunyuoshua asked with a red face. The one with letters. I heard that the most famous style of Balenciaga is the one with letters. Yishin blurted out. He himself didn't know much about these things. It was all said by An Meng, the gold digger. In order to please An Meng, he simply lost himself. Looking back now, I just feel pathetic. So he wouldn't try to please Sunyuoshua. He would just say whatever he had. In this life, I will never please any woman again, and I swear not to be a bootlicker. Sunyuoshua's face became even redder. Although it's very famous, I'm embarrassed to wear it outside. Sunyuoshua is still very conservative in her heart, otherwise she wouldn't have been without a boyfriend. Yishin pursed his lips. Then you can wear it at home. Wear it at home. Sunyuoshua's eyes lit up. If you wear it at home, you can show it to your little brother. And there are only 2 of them at home. Wouldn't that be? Sunyuoshua felt that her saliva was about to flow out. Anyway, she likes Yishin, this little brother, very much. Even if the little brother can't control himself in the future, it doesn't matter. Just treat it as a life experience class for him. She doesn't need Yishin to be responsible for anything. Even if she gets pregnant unexpectedly, she will give birth to the child and raise it alone. Yishin can still enjoy his great life. And she is already 30 years old, and will soon become an elderly mother. If Yishin is willing to give her a child, it will also be a gift to her. Sunyuoshua is no longer a little girl, and many of her ideas are very mature. Yes, it doesn't matter if you wear it at home. Yishin scratched his head and said, he didn't realize Sunyuoshua's idea at all. He didn't know how to guess a girl's mind, not to mention that Sunyuoshua was already 30 years old. How could he be a match for such a woman? Okay then. Sunyuoshua smiled charmingly, I'll listen to you. After paying, the clerk carefully packed Paris World. Wait, Sunyuoshua thought for a while and said, I want to change it now. She couldn't wait to wear it for her little brother to see. Okay, there is a dressing room here, the clerk said respectfully. Tilder, Sunyuoshua glanced at Yishin and said softly, come with me. The clerk took a breath and immediately stopped her. This is not allowed. Men and women cannot enter the dressing room together. Even if they are lovers, they can't. In theory, if the couple has seen each other, it's okay to enter the dressing room together. But because of the incident at a clothing store, the store owner is also afraid. What if there is another indecent video? Sunyuoshua raised her eyebrows and said slightly, who do you think I am? The clerk shook his head awkwardly, I didn't mean that. That's what he said, but that's what he meant in his heart. Although Sunyuoshua is beautiful, she looks a little older than Yishin. Even the most blind people can see that women are older than boys. What can an old woman get from dating a young boy? She only wants his body. Sunyuoshua sneered, I just wanted him to wait for me outside the door. If you say so, I have to let him in. Sunyuoshua doesn't like being ordered by others, and she has already spent money. Why should the clerk question her? Is she that kind of loose woman? Even if she is, so what? She is the heiress of the richest man. What does she do or not do? Who can say that to a little clerk? If she is upset, she can buy Balenciaga at any time. Seeing that Sunyuoshua was angry, the clerk no longer dared to say anything. After all, Sunyuoshua's highest consumption record was several million a month. No one could afford to offend such a rich woman. Then you can go in together, but you can't record the video. The clerk was tangled, but still said his bottom line. No matter what they do, as long as there is no video leaked, just pretend not to know. Who made this woman rich? Money can really do whatever you want. Yishin's face was a little hot. He was an adult. He couldn't pretend not to understand the clerk's words. Girls can pretend to be ignorant, but boys can't. Boys should be responsible. Yishin cleared his throat and said to Sunyuoshua, show me after you change. Sunyuoshua held back her laughter and pouted, thinking, it's really a naughty little boy. He actually wanted to see her wearing Balenciaga. Unlike greasy boys, little boys are cute when they are bad. Sunyuoshua smiled charmingly, okay, I'll come out to see you after I change, and then we'll go home directly, slowly tilde, enjoy tilde. Sunyuoshua was weird, and now it was the clerk's turn to be embarrassed. He laughed dryly, the dressing room is over here, please. There was a big mirror in the dressing room. Sunyuoshua looked at herself in the mirror again and again. She had long legs and a thin waist and was very sexy. She had such a good figure, but she didn't have a boyfriend. TSK. Who will be her first man? Yishin's face appeared in her mind. I wonder if it will be this little brother. If it's not him, she might as well be a virgin for life. After all, she hates men and feels sick when she thinks of those men. After changing into Balenciaga, Sunyuoshua walked out slowly. She put her hand on Yishin's shoulder and asked coquettishly, little brother, am I beautiful? Yishin couldn't resist Sunyuoshua's posture. Young women are so charming, let alone a beautiful queen like Sunyuoshua. Yishin bit his tongue hard to calm himself down. How could he have such unreasonable thoughts? Sunyuoshua is just a kind big sister. Sunyuoshua would not give up until she got the answer, and asked again, am I good looking? Good looking, beautiful. Yishin said, men like it. Sunyuoshua blushed, gently hit Yishin's chest, and said coquettishly, stinky brother tilde. Chapter 11 Like mature women. It's really inexplicable to be called a stinky brother. Yishin curled his lips. However, he would not be angry. He is a man and should maintain his demeanor. Sunyuoshua looked at Yishin and found him more and more cute. No matter what he did, he was so cute. It would be great if she could have such a cute little brother. But she is already 30 years old, and the little brother is only 18 years old. With such a big age difference, how can they be together? It's better not to fantasize. What's more, it's already a kind of enjoyment to have the little brother by her side. But, she is a normal woman, no matter how cold she is, she still has desires. It starts from emotion, but ends with reason. Those who understand will understand. Little brother, do you want to watch a movie? Sunyuoshua asked charmingly. I want to watch it. Yishin blurted out, and then immediately shook his head, forget it, let's not watch it. In fact, he hasn't watched a movie for a long time. Watching a movie costs money and time. In the whole year of senior high school, he had no money and no time. While studying hard, he did housework for his adoptive parents and had to take time to make An Meng happy. But what was the result? He gave up Tsinghua University and Peking University and applied for junior college just to accompany the poor student An Meng, and An Meng didn't know how many men slept with him during this period. The boy's heart was trampled on like this. It's okay that his love failed, but in the end he didn't even have a home. His adoptive parents kicked him out of the house and let him fend for himself. There is no blood relationship, so they only care about benefits. In the eyes of adults, if you can't get into Peking University or Tsinghua University, you can't make a lot of money. If you can't make a lot of money, you are not worthy of being their son. If Sun Yuoshua hadn't picked him up and brought him home, he would have died on the street that night, turning into a cold corpse, a lonely ghost with no one to collect his body. So, Yishin swore that he would definitely protect Sun Yuoshua. It has always been men who protect women. Even if Yuoshua is much older than him, she is the one being protected. Why? Don't you like watching movies? Sun Yuoshua asked Yishin. Her expression was very innocent, and her big eyes were wet, much like a teenage girl. Half a girl, half a young woman, it is simply fatally attractive. Yishin was distracted and had a lot of thoughts. He stammered, "There are too many men in the cinema." Sun Yuoshua understood halfway through the conversation. It turned out that the little brother was jealous Tilder. "Okay then Tilder," Sun Yuoshua winked playfully, "I'll listen to you." After that, Sun Yuoshua took Yishin's hand. "Little brother, let's go home." The soft little hand suddenly pulled over, and Yishin was first throbbing, and then moved. Go home, what a warm word. Yishin no longer has a home. For the time being, just treat Sun Yuoshua's home as your own home, even if it's only one holiday, he is willing. I don't care about forever, I only care about having it once. Yishin didn't dare to say what he thought. He knew that Sister Yuoshua only took him in temporarily. He was like a child who stole happiness. Even if it was happiness, he only dared to be happy secretly. Fortunately, Sun Yuoshua didn't have a husband or a boyfriend, otherwise she would definitely be kicked out. Sister Yuoshua is so beautiful, maybe she will have a boyfriend soon. Then her heart will definitely fly to another man. And what is Yishin? Thinking of this, Yishin couldn't help feeling a little sad. Back to the villa. After opening the door, Sun Yuoshua took a deep breath. She is very sensitive to smells. When she lived alone before, the house was cold and there was only a faint smell of perfume. Now, even if she comes back from outside, she can feel a different breath. There is a man smell in the house, which feels warm and down to earth. For Sun Yuoshua, the days of living with her little brother are real and dreamy. Seeing Yishin standing still at the door, Sun Yuoshua turned around and looked at him. What's the matter? Come in quickly. Yeah. Yishin nodded. Sun Yuoshua bent down and handed him slippers. Yishin was a little embarrassed. Sister Yuoshua, I can wear it myself. Okay, little brother is so good Tilder, Sun Yuoshua said sweetly. In an instant, Yishin felt mixed emotions. Is he obedient? If he is really so obedient, why is he still so lonely? He is a boy, he can't be sad for too long. Yishin sniffed and said to Sun Yuoshua, no one likes obedient boys. Sun Yuoshua was stunned for a moment, then smiled gently. What? I like obedient boys. After thinking for a while, she said, why are you suddenly unhappy? Are you thinking about your first love? If you really miss her, go to the hospital to visit her. Sun Yuoshua was so sad when she said these words. But what can she do? Everything can be controlled, but the human heart is difficult to control. No matter how bad that girl is, she is also someone that the little brother truly loves. It is so hard to forget someone she knows. When mentioning An Meng, Yishin felt bitter. I have loved, but not now. See clearly, I have already seen clearly. Yishin shook his head. No, she is not my first love, we have never talked, I don't care whether she is dead or alive, I am sad just, my parents, no, my adoptive parents. Yishin didn't want to say anything more. Sun Yuoshua hugged him gently and comforted him softly, little brother. Don't think about the past. They don't want you, I want you. Sun Yuoshua's words were not just talk. If she didn't mean it, she wouldn't take him home. She hates men, and she still has money. If she had met other men that day, she would have sent him away with this money. But it happened to be Yishin. The little boy seemed to have some magic, making her want to get close to him. Sunyuoshue herself couldn't explain many things. I can only say that fate is wonderful. Being held in Sunyuoshue's arms, Yishin felt so warm and soft. No wonder they all like mature women. At this moment, An Meng in the hospital has woken up. She was fine, but she was weak after the abortion, and she was emotional, so the doctor asked her to rest well. Now her mind is full of Yishin. She really wants Yishin to hug her and comfort her. Yishin is the one who really treats her well. She didn't cherish him before, but so what? She will change. Besides, Yishin is very decadent now. He gave up Tsinghua University and Peking University to take the junior college entrance examination. His family doesn't want him. Isn't she worthy of such a poor orphan? An Meng felt superior and called Yishin. Chapter 12. Playing with him like a dog. Yishin was in Sunyuoshue's arms, but his cell phone kept ringing. This phone call. I don't know whether to say it is a real bummer or whether it comes at the right time. It is normal for a single man and a single woman to accidentally shoot something when they are in the same room. This phone call brought them back to reality. Why don't you answer the phone? Sunyuoshue asked. Her mind was clear at this moment. Yishin hesitated. Even without looking, he knew who was calling. He set an exclusive ringtone for An Meng, and even after changing her phone, the ringtone remained the same. It's not that I still love you, I just forgot to change. It's really hard to change people's habits. Sunyuoshue was a very smart person. When Yishin hesitated, she knew what was going on. The age gap between the two is so big. Sunyuoshue has been in society for many years, and Yishin is just a college student. If Sunyuoshue really wanted to play, playing with Yishin would be like playing with a dog. Is it that girl? Sunyuoshue blinked. She is in the hospital now. Maybe there is something urgent. If something unexpected happens, I am afraid you will regret it. Sunyuoshue is a mature woman, so she won't be petty. She knows that her little brother is very kind. If something really happened to that girl, how regretful would that little brother be? After all, this is someone I truly loved, even if we ended up meeting each other in the end. I really won't like her anymore. Yishin said. In fact, he didn't need to explain so much. He was not Sunyuoshue's, and Sunyuoshue was not his. There should be privacy and room between them. But he still explained. Sunyuoshue smiled. I know, a girl like that is not worthy of you. She has had an abortion, so her body must be very weak. If something happens to her. At this moment, Yishin almost softened his heart. It's not because of An Meng, but because of Sunyuoshue's beauty and kindness. If the two were the same age, Yishin would definitely pursue her madly. But the two of them are 12 years apart. Even if he doesn't mind, Sunyuoshue will mind. He could love An Meng unscrupulously at the beginning because he was sure that he could give An Meng a future. Don't look down on the young man because he is poor, he has plenty of time to strive. Facing Sunyuoshue now, Yishin didn't dare to be tempted. What could he promise her? He is only young. Yishin is not the kind of person who just plays around. If it were just for fun, he could sleep with many girls and then not be responsible. With his looks, he could have become a scumbag. But he didn't. He foolishly became a bootlicker. The funny thing is, there is only one bootlicker with a sincere heart. In the end, he has nothing. Yishin still answered An Meng's call. Blood, Yishin, I'm bleeding a lot, I'm so scared. I miss you so much, can you come and see me, please? An Meng's voice was pitiful. She did have the sequelae of an abortion. She would have been fine if she had taken good care of herself, but she was not restrained and was promiscuous, so she had a heavy bleeding. Her life is saved, but what happens to her in the future depends on luck. Before, Yishin would be worried to death. He might even choose to take over, no matter how dirty An Meng's past was. This is what pure love god of war is like. But now, Yishin already knew An Meng's true nature. She was fickle and had no moral bottom line. I don't know how many men she slept with, the most hateful thing is that she could have an abortion just like that. It's all her own fault that she is in this state now. Yishin values family ties the most and really hates this kind of behavior. That was a small life. Even if it had nothing to do with him, he couldn't be so cruel. An Meng kept begging, and Yishan almost softened his heart, but reason told him that he must not be soft-hearted when facing a scheming woman like An Meng. If he was even a little soft-hearted, An Meng would treat him like a dog. I could have endured the darkness if I had never seen the light. Sunyuoshue is so good to him, how can he be another girl's dog again? Who would he be unfair to? If you are sick, go see a doctor. What's the point of looking for me? Yishan said in a cold tone and hung up the phone. An Meng on the other end of the phone was stunned. She couldn't believe that Yishan actually said such cold and heartless words. Yishan, the boy whom she treated like a dog, how come he suddenly changed? Isn't it said that a dog only recognizes one owner in its lifetime? How can you change your mind just like that? In the past, Yishan would have come to take care of her regardless of his own safety. What was this like now? How abominable, how disgusting. It must be because of that old woman. No matter how beautiful that woman is, she is already a young woman. Why should you compete with her for a man? And Meng became angrier, and finally burst into tears. No matter what, she was going to get Yishan back. Yishan stood where he was and took a deep breath. He was in a complicated mood, and couldn't tell whether he was relieved or sad. He finally got rid of An Meng's control, but his heart was completely empty. He has no family and no one he likes. He is only 18 years old, but he lives like a hollow man. When I can't sleep, I don't know who to miss. People are emotional and afraid of loneliness, and Yishan is no exception. Sunyuoshue looked at Yishan quietly. She understood that this little boy had just completed a period of growth. The process of completely forgetting someone you loved is painful and struggling, but as long as you can get through it, you will be reborn. Sunyuoshue felt nothing but heartache. She didn't know what to do, so she could only be extra nice to Yishan. Sunyuoshue gently touched Yishan's face. Little brother. Yishan's heart trembled. Sister Nyuoshue. Although Sunyuoshue didn't say anything, he felt that Sunyuoshue understood him. After a long while, Yishan slowly spoke. Sister Nyuoshue, is there someone you are thinking about? Sunyuoshue was stunned for a moment, then nodded, yes. Sure enough, Sunyuoshue also has someone she cares about. But he is just a passerby after all. He understood the reason, but he still couldn't help feeling sour in his heart. Yishan smiled to cover up the bitterness in his heart, and said, it's getting late now, you should go to bed quickly, women who stay up late will age easily. Sunyuoshue pouted, do you think I'm old? Yishan shook his head repeatedly, this is just a gentle reminder. Stinky brother Tilder. Sunyuoshue pretended to be angry, but still went back to her room and went to sleep obediently. The little brother said this because he cares about her Tilder. Yishan lay in bed, tossing and turning, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about who Sister Nyuoshue was thinking about. When he couldn't sleep, he wanted to find something to do. Maybe he could mop the floor, or find something to do. When Yishan walked into the bathroom, he found Sunyuoshue was there too. She seemed to be washing something. After a closer look, he realized that Sunyuoshue was washing his socks. Chapter 13 I want to do more for you. Sunyuoshue is washing her own socks. For a moment, Yishan's mind was in a mess. No one had ever washed his clothes for him. His adoptive parents had a washing machine at home, but they didn't let him use it. So even in winter, he had to wash his clothes by hand, and even for the whole family. Everyone treated him like a piece of trash, and no one loved him since he was a child. But now, Sister Nyuoshue, such an elegant woman, was actually helping him wash his socks, and she didn't dislike him at all. Boys of his age have abundant hormones, so the smell of their socks is naturally not pleasant. Yishan clearly knew. Yishan said embarrassedly, I'll wash it myself. Sunyuoshue raised her head and looked at Yishan gently, it's okay, since you live here, I will take care of you, after all, I am older than you. Having said that, Sunyuoshue smiled bitterly. Who knows the loneliness in her heart? This was the first time I had a crush on a man, but this man was 12 years younger than me. He wasn't even a man, just a little boy. It was like I was born before you, and you were born when I was already old. Yishan stood there in a daze, his head buzzing. If this continued, he was afraid that he would really fall in love with Sunyuoshue. If a person of the opposite sex takes good care of you every day, you will be a little moved even if the other person is a sow. What's more, he was facing a beauty like Sunyuoshue. What should he do if this continued? For Yishan, liking someone is a lifelong thing. There is such a big age gap between him and Sunyuoshua that it is difficult for him to have a future. Yishin's heart was already broken, and he couldn't let himself be sad a second time. So he couldn't be tempted. Or, wait until he becomes better before liking Sunyuoshua. He doesn't want to be a freeloader. Even though he was still a little boy, he wanted to protect the person he loved. Sunyuoshua thought Yishin was shy, so she said, "It's okay, go to bed, Tilda. Go to bed first." Yishin said, "It's not good to stay up late." "Me?" Sunyuoshua smiled. "I can't sleep. Usually I have to take sleeping pills to fall asleep. Today I just ran out of sleeping pills. It's even more uncomfortable to lie in bed without falling asleep. I might as well find something to do." Sunyuoshua is the heiress to the richest man and a female CEO. She is under a lot of mental pressure and often suffers from insomnia. The doctor said that it was caused by loneliness and suggested that she find a boyfriend. How can it be so easy to find a boyfriend? What's more, she hates men. Men in the business world are greasy and lustful. Not to mention dating, just seeing them makes me want to vomit. So Sunyuoshua chose to take sleeping pills. It was hard to swallow at first, but she got used to it after a while. Yishin was deeply touched. Although Sunyuoshua is older than him, she is still very young. If she starts taking sleeping pills now, does she have to take them for the rest of her life? What's more, all medicines are poisonous. Don't take sleeping pills. Taking too much will damage your kidneys, said Yishin. Sunyuoshua raised her eyebrows and smiled. "Injure the kidney? I'm not a man, so it doesn't matter if it hurts a little. This won't work." Yishin rubbed his nose. "How about thinking of another way?" Seeing Yishin's confused look, Sunyuoshua burst out laughing. The little brother is quite caring. His future girlfriend will surely be very happy. Sunyuoshua pouted. "No, unless someone is willing to sleep with me." "I'll sleep with you." Yishin blurted out. Sunyuoshua raised her eyebrows. Yishin was embarrassed for a moment, and immediately explained, "What I meant was that I was accompanying you and coaxing you to sleep." Sunyuoshua felt bitter in her heart, and she couldn't tell what it was. "Yeah, that's all. Blame myself for thinking too much. My little brother is so innocent." Then he looked up and gave Yishin a bright smile. "Okay, Tilda." Then he took Yishin's hand and said, "Then I'll leave it to you. Come back to the room with me." Sunyuoshua is really attractive. She is wearing silk pajamas, has a perfect figure, and smells good. So beautiful, so fragrant. Yishin swallowed and tried hard to wake himself up. Sunyuoshua's room smells very good, and the sheets and curtains are all light pink, creating a very ambiguous atmosphere. It would be a waste if nothing happens. But, alas. Sunyuoshua's heart was pounding. This was the first time she let a man into her room. Sunyuoshua is a germaphobe, except when it comes to Yishin. She was willing to let him into her life, even in a private place like her room, and was even willing to wash his socks for him. She knew that boy's socks smelled sour, but she didn't mind at all. Even if she put expensive hand cream on her hands, it didn't matter. "Then I'll go to bed, Tilda." Sunyuoshua tried hard to suppress the trembling in her voice. She lay on the bed, looking very obedient. There is a kind of beauty that can be manipulated by anyone. Yishin took a deep breath. It turns out that Sunyuoshua is so beautiful both in motion and in stillness. This kind of beauty is simply incomparable to that of other girls in school. An Meng thinks she is pretty, but she is not even as pretty as Sunyuoshua's toe. Sunyuoshua has snow-white skin, and even her toes are crystal clear. Yishin withdrew his gaze and didn't dare to look at it again. Sunyuoshua is a woman, and he is a man. Both are adults. If adult men and women get too close to each other, something bad will happen sooner or later. Early morning, late night. Sunyuoshua noticed Yishin's shyness and said delicately, "What are you doing? Didn't you say you were going to coax me to sleep? Why are you so far away, Tilda? Do I smell bad?" Yishin immediately shook his head. "No, sister, you smell so good." Sunyuoshua smiled with her lips pursed. The little brother said she smells good. It made her face blush. "Really?" Sunyuoshua deliberately said arrogantly, "Compared between me and that girl, who is more attractive?" "Of course it's you, An Meng." Yishin felt a little headache when he mentioned An Meng. Thinking back, I was so blind. How could I fall in love with such a girl? And I loved her for 3 whole years. The most ridiculous thing is that I still wanted to have a future with her. How is she? Sunyuoshua asked. She wanted to understand her little brother's heart so much. Yishin shook his head. Forget it, let's not talk about her. She chose her own life. What future does a college girl who has had an abortion have? Unless you can find a fool to take over. Today's society is so impetuous, how many people can be as stupid as Yishin? Now everything seems bleak. And Meng, she can only wish her the best. Okay, let's not mention her anymore. I don't want to see you sad. Sunyuoshua said with concern. When her little brother is happy, she is happy too. Her little brother was sad, and she felt bad too. So this is what it feels like to miss someone. Very sweet, and also very flustered. Yishin took a deep breath and said, Sister Nuoshua, let me sing you a song to help you sleep. Chapter 14. If you don't take it seriously, you won't be good. The boy's voice is very nice. Sunyuoshua closed her eyes and pretended to be asleep. She kicked the quilt, revealing a section of her snow-white calf. Yishin's voice was trembling and his face was red. Her legs are really beautiful, but you have to stay calm, after all, she is not your girlfriend. Yishin gently pulled up the quilt and covered Sunyuoshua with it. A ripple appeared in Sunyuoshua's heart. The little brother was so gentle. She really wanted to eat him. She soon came to her senses again. How could she pollute such a pure little brother just because of her own desires? He is only 18 years old. Such a gap, such an age difference, is difficult to cross. Sunyuoshua understood. Yishin thought Sunyuoshua was really asleep, so he tiptoed back to his room. He lay on the bed, looking at the ceiling, with Sunyuoshua in his mind. It was as if something was eroding his brain. He couldn't forget it, he really couldn't forget it this time. In the morning, Yishin opened his eyes in a daze, but the person he saw was Sunyuoshua. Yishin clutched the quilt tightly, not wanting Sunyuoshua to see that he was sleeping naked. Sunyuoshua smiled and said tenderly, I cooked porridge for you. I. Yishin seemed to be frozen, I haven't put on any clothes yet. Sunyuoshua lowered her head and smiled, it's okay, I'll feed you. She held the spoon lightly with her snow-white, slender hands, scooped up a spoonful of porridge, blew it gently, and then fed it to Yishin. Yishin felt himself confused and couldn't tell whether it was the fragrance of Sunyuoshua or the fragrance of porridge. He thought, if one day he really fell in love with Sunyuoshua, would it make him sad? The reason why you don't dare to be sincere is simply because you are afraid of being trampled on. Every man is not innocent at the beginning, but gets hurt later. Some become scumbags, and some simply stop touching women. There are some extreme ones who fall in love with their brothers directly. Look at what you are eating. Sunyuoshua wiped the little bit of porridge from Yishin's mouth with her index finger. Yishin blushed immediately. She is really very attractive. It would be nice if I could always be with her. But she could only keep him for one summer vacation. Eventually you have to leave. Is a person like him going to be alone all his life? Yishin sighed softly. Sunyuoshua touched Yishin's forehead and asked, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Yishin shook his head, I'm not wearing any clothes. Really? Sunyuoshua covered her face and smiled, as expected, he is a little boy, not afraid of the cold. Yishin felt like his face was burning. Sunyuoshua grabbed a corner of the quilt with her little hand. She really wanted to lift the quilt away, or get directly into her little brother's bed. After thinking about it, he retracted his hand. She was afraid of scaring her little brother. Sunyuoshua turned her face away and said softly, put on your clothes, I won't look. No. Not going out. Yishin lifted the quilt, grabbed his pants, put them on in a second, and then put on a short-sleeved shirt. Sunyuoshua pinched her thigh hard. She was so afraid that she would lose control and pounce on her little brother. The younger brother was already an adult, but the age gap between them was so big that sometimes Sunyuoshua couldn't tell whether she was facing a boy or a man. I'm dressed. Yishin said sullenly. There were some things he couldn't understand. He and An Meng were the same age, but An Meng had become pregnant and had an abortion. He himself has never been in a relationship and is still a virgin. The gap between people is really big. Sunyuoshua pulled the corner of Yishin's clothes and said, look at you, you can't even put on your clothes properly. A little boy like you needs others to take care of you the most. Yishin rubbed his nose and said, "Actually, I can take care of you, too." Sunyuoshua's eyes were as charming as silk. "What do you mean?" "I can cook and wash clothes, and I used to do housework at home," said Yishin. Sunyuoshua's eyes were full of heartache. "Home is home, and here is my place. I can't bear to let you do housework. If you really like a man, how can you bear to see him suffer?" That. Yishin tried hard to think about what he could do for Sunyuoshua. Even if he did so much, An Meng would still betray him. If he did nothing, would Sunyuoshua kick him out? He was scared and felt insecure. Sunyuoshua curled her lips and said, "If you want to take care of me, give me a massage." Sunyuoshua pointed at her shoulder and said, "It's right here. It's always sore. Boys have stronger hands. Maybe it will be fine if I press it. Are you willing to help me?" "Yeah." Yishin nodded and put his hand on Sunyuoshua's shoulder. "Okay," Sunyuoshua said seductively, "when you massage me, don't be careless, Tilda. Children who don't take things seriously are not well behaved at all." How did Sunyuoshua know that he had impure thoughts? She is indeed a mature woman, as if she can read minds. "I won't," Yishin said in a muffled voice. He kneaded Sunyuoshua's shoulders gently, afraid to hurt her. Sunyuoshua groaned. Yishin felt like he could hardly breathe. "Why did you stop?" Sunyuoshua asked. Yishin's face turned red. "I want to go to the bathroom." Then he quickly ran away, turned on the faucet in the bathroom, and washed his face frantically. Yishin felt like he was going crazy. He had never been like this to An Meng before. What should he do? How can you pretend nothing happened when you are so moved? If Sunyuoshua found out, would she think he was dirty? A little boy actually likes a mature woman. If he said this kind of feeling out loud, would he bring shame upon himself? He really didn't want to lose Sunyuoshua. After Yishin washed his hands and dried them hastily, he found Sunyuoshua leaning against the door, looking at him with charming eyes. Yishin stood there in a daze, not knowing what to say. Sunyuoshua said gently, "You can't even take care of yourself, and you still want to take care of me. It's better for me to take care of you." Yishin tried hard to conceal herself. She didn't dare let Sunyuoshua discover her inner feelings. He did like An Meng, but Sunyuoshua's attraction was fatal. Others say that suppressing emotions for too long will cause headaches. Yishin felt like his head was buzzing. Chapter 15. Have you ever kissed? "Do you want to eat eggs?" Sunyuoshua asked Yishin. Yishin was completely confused. "Huh?" Sunyuoshua chuckled. "I mean, do you want to eat eggs? How about eggs and milk for breakfast?" Yishin felt like he was about to break out in a cold sweat. What on earth was he doing? Although Sunyuoshua was 30 years old, she had never been in a relationship. A woman like her was more innocent than many college girls. He should stop having such random thoughts. At the dinner table, Sunyuoshua looked at Yishin tenderly and said softly, "Children of your age all like to drink milk, right?" Yishin coughed and almost choked. He knew that in Sunyuoshua's eyes he was just a child, but he didn't want to be a child anymore. He was already an adult. This is about men's dignity. Yishin put down the milk in his hand and said, "I am an adult, I can drink alcohol, I can drink a lot." "Really?" "I can't tell. But I can't drink much and get drunk easily. That's why I don't drink when I do business. I'm afraid that I'll be picked up by someone after getting drunk. You know there are no good people in the business world, especially men. They are even worse and more shameless." Sunyuoshua said calmly. Men always want women to exchange their bodies for benefits. There are some things that Sunyuoshua doesn't want to say too bluntly. The little brother is too naive to listen to too much. Yishin lowered his head and said nothing. He might not have understood what Sunyuoshua said before, but now he understood it thoroughly. Just like An Meng, she had no self-respect and self-love, and kept sleeping with men, and finally had an abortion. An Meng was indeed wrong, but those men were not good people either. A rotten fish is just looking for a rotten shrimp. As for me, Sunyuoshua smiled bitterly, I prefer to be single than to be with someone who doesn't fit in. I thought that I must find a good and clean man, but unfortunately I never found one. In the end, I am still single now. Little brother, do you think I am stupid? Sunyuoshua pinched the egg and took a small bite, then looked at Yishin seriously, wanting to hear what he had to say. Yishin swallowed his saliva and said, there are many clean boys, and they are usually called lickers. There is no market for good men and honest people. Women always say that they don't love bad men. So they find dirty tricks and scumbags, and when they get tired of being played with, they start thinking about finding honest men to take over, and by the way, ask the honest men for hundreds of thousands of dollars in dowry. There are also some girls in nightclubs who only cost a few hundred yuan to order, but you need a car and a house to marry them. Now the man has begun to realize his mistake and is determined not to take the offer. Who should I blame? I can only blame the bad woman for narrowing the road. A dog licker. Sunuoshua seemed to be thinking about something. The word licker is really insulting. Why would someone who gives his heart and soul end up like a dog? Yeah, why? Yishan also gave his true heart, but An Meng never cherished it. Sincerity is the least valuable. Yishan said and stuffed a whole egg into his mouth, trying to suppress the bitterness in his heart in this way. Sunuoshua was a little lost in thought. The little brother was only 18 years old, yet he was so depressed. The little brother was so innocent and cute. Anyone who hurt the little brother should be cut into pieces. I really want to comfort him and protect him. Sunuoshua smiled and pinched Yishan's nose. You just met the wrong person, don't stop believing in love. Yishan hummed. He believes in love, he does believe in love, but who else can he love? After spending a few days with Sunuoshua, he felt that he was somewhat trapped. Will I be able to find a woman as good as Sunuoshua in the future? Probably not. Sunuoshua will take him in for a summer vacation, and Yishan wants the summer vacation to pass more slowly, even more slowly. Sunuoshua stretched and said lazily, Little brother, go change into a set of loose clothes. Oh. Yishan agreed. He tried his best to suppress himself. How could he dare to let Sunuoshua see his wild thoughts? Why don't you ask why? Sunuoshua tilted her head and smiled. Yishan didn't know how to answer. Every move of Sunuoshua has a fatal attraction to him. When boys are at the age of full vigor and vitality, when they meet the most charming woman, they have no idea how to resist. I could only hide myself in a panic, as if I had made some mistake. Sunuoshua couldn't help but touch Yishan's head. Are all the little boys of your age so silly? So cute. Sunuoshua always felt that Yishan's eyes were like those of a puppy, sincere and warm. It would be great if she could tie up her little brother to her side like she would a puppy. A good little dog that belongs only to her. Today is my fitness day. Will you go to the gym with me? Sunuoshua asked with blinking eyes. Okay. Yishan agreed. How could he refuse Sunuoshua? Yishan has never been to the gym. He developed his abdominal muscles by doing push-ups. I'm going to change my clothes. Sunuoshua shook her long hair. Little brother, what color do you like? No, I should say, what color do you like me to wear? Pink, please. Yishan said. Sunuoshua has such fair skin, she will definitely look good in pink. Sunuoshua lowered her head and smiled, pink and tender. How old am I now? No, Sunuoshua ran her fingers across Yishan's chest. For my little brother, I can wear it once. Yishan swallowed. Sunuoshua is so attractive. 2 minutes later, Sunuoshua came out after changing her clothes. Pink crop top and pink yoga pants. She goes to the gym regularly, so she has a nice, tight and healthy figure, and exudes a natural femininity. An Meng is very thin, the type with fair skin and youthful appearance, but Sunuoshua is different. She has a little flesh on her body, but the clothes she wears make her look thin. Such a woman is a rare gift from heaven, and those who understand will understand. Yishan felt his throat was a little dry and tight. Does it look good? Sunuoshua turned around in front of Yishan. It looks good. Yishan's voice was a little hoarse. What's wrong with your throat? Sunuoshua asked. It's a bit dry. Yishan pinched his throat. Well, Sunuoshua came over and touched Yishan's lips with her index finger. Little brother, your mouth is also dry, remember to drink more water. Sunuoshua wiped her lips, took off some lip balm, and then put the lip balm on Yishan's mouth, and said in a seductive voice, this is much better. The lip balm contains mint, which gives a cool and icy feeling. Yishan pursed his lips. He was too young, and he had no idea how to deal with Sunuoshua. Little brother, Sunuoshua's eyes were full of spring water, and her lips were close to Yishan's ear. Have you ever kissed a woman? Yishin felt like he was suffocating. No, no. Hotilder, Sunyuoshua blew on Yishin's ears, and the heat spread out. I have never been kissed by a man, anywhere. Chapter 16. It's over, it's fallen. Fantasies gradually appeared in Yishin's mind. He imagined himself hugging Sunyuoshua and kissing her hard. Very soft and fragrant. Sunyuoshua tapped Yishin's forehead and said, "Little brother, why are you in a daze again? We are about to set off Tilder." Yishin took a deep breath and calmed himself down. Sunyuoshua's red sports car seemed to have been washed and looked more dazzling than before. Yishin was sitting in the passenger seat. When he looked up, he could see Sunyuoshua's lips in the rearview mirror. They were cherry red, like a blooming flower. The more intense it got, the more confused Yishin felt. Just like Guoxiong, her life was ruined once she met Yarngua. If this continues, will he also ruin his life because of Sunyuoshua? The sadness that An Meng brought to him was like a blow from a sword or an axe. In time, even the most serious injury would heal. I'm afraid that Sunyuoshua is like a frog in boiling water. By the time she realizes what's happening, she'll be dead. Not daring to think or look, Yishin closed his eyes and pretended to be asleep. Sunyuoshua patted Yishin's leg. "Little brother, did you not sleep well yesterday? Is it because you coaxed me to sleep that you did not sleep well?" Yishin shook his head. "No. It's not because of this, but also because of Sunyuoshua." Sunyuoshua's eyes sparkled as she leaned over and helped Yishin unfasten his seat belt. "Then there are other secrets, Tilder." Yishin almost told everything. Sunyuoshua put her index finger on Yishin's lips. "Tilder. Since it's a secret, don't tell me. Let me find out slowly. That's more interesting, right?" Sunyuoshua pulled Yishin up and asked casually, "Little brother, how many push-ups can you do?" "About 1,000 in one breath," Yishin said. Sunyuoshua moved her lips. "If you don't believe me, do 1,000 push-ups in one breath, pile driver." "It's true," Yishin said. Since he was a child, he would do push-ups whenever he was sad, and he would do more and more push-ups as he practiced. Yishin's expression was serious, and Sunyuoshua gradually believed it. She had seen on the internet before that special forces could do 1 or 2,000 push-ups at a time, so it was reasonable for the little brother to say that he could do 1,000 push-ups at a time. Sunyuoshua blushed slightly. "It seems that you have good physical strength and core strength." "Yeah." Yishin did not deny it. Sunyuoshua's face turned even redder. "It turns out that my little brother is so awesome. Many of those businessmen like them, those bosses, are so fat that they probably can't even do a push-up. This kind of man is boring no matter how many women he has. Moreover, will women be happy when getting along with each other?" Anyway, Sunyuoshua always stayed away from such men, and was afraid of slapping them too hard if she slapped them. Sunyuoshua licked her lips and said teasingly, "Little brother, can I see your abdominal muscles?" "Yes." Yishin numbly lifted up his shirt. In front of Sunyuoshua, he had no ability to resist. He could look at her abdominal muscles or anywhere else. Sunyuoshua's eyes lit up and she looked straight at Yishin's abdominal muscles. "It really is 8-pack abs. I really want to touch them. Can I touch it?" Sunyuoshua asked again. "This." Yishin's hands were shaking, and the atmosphere felt like it was about to explode. Such an action may not be a big deal for Sunyuoshua, but for him, it is simply unbearable. Sunyuoshua still touched it. Yishin's legs went weak and he almost fell to his knees. "It's over, it's fallen." There weren't many people in the gym. When they saw Sunyuoshua, a man in a tight vest came running over happily. "Hey, President Su, you're here to work out again. Do you want to buy my private lessons?" "Private lessons, you know." Sunyuoshua made a stop gesture. "I don't need a fitness coach. As we all know, the purposes of these so-called fitness coaches and private lessons are not pure at all. When working out with a woman, there will be some physical contact, and sooner or later they will end up in bed. By that time the tuition fees have been collected, the people have been accepted, and the main goal is to provide food and benefits at the same time. They don't let go of ordinary girls, let alone a rich and beautiful girl like Sunyuoshua. You have to train yourself." "Tut tut tut," the fitness man made a disgusted expression. "I can see you don't understand. Fitness should be scientific. If you train yourself randomly, you will be dumbfounded when your breasts and buttocks are gone." As he spoke, he glanced at Sunyuoshua. Yishin got angry immediately. Wasn't this a blatant tease? A bang. Yishin beat the gym guy's eye socket to death. After a long while, the fitness man finally reacted, pointed at Yishin, and said with gritted teeth, "There are surveillance cameras here. If you hit someone, you have to compensate me, otherwise you will go to jail." Really? Yishin smiled with a crooked mouth, then punched again. This time both eyes asymmetrical. "You?" The fitness man was furious. "Just wait till you go to jail." Su Nuoshua gently lifted her hair. "You call me President Su, you should know who I am, right? You should also understand my identity and status, right? This boy is mine, he just touched you lightly, and you want him to go to jail. How do you think I will deal with you?" When the fitness man heard what Su Nuoshua said, his face turned pale. He knew that Su Nuoshua was someone he absolutely could not afford to offend. "But I don't want to get punched twice in vain." At this time, many people had come to watch, and the atmosphere was very tense. The fitness guy snorted coldly. "Okay, I think he's just a kid, so I won't bother with him, but President Su, you can't just let me suffer for nothing, right?" Su Nuoshua crossed her arms and asked, "What do you want?" The gym guy sneered. Yishin said, "Since anyone who can come to the gym is not a coward, let's solve this matter in our own way. With so many people watching today, let's have a competition. If you lose, you have to call me brother and apologize to me. If you lose, you have to lick the soles of my shoes." Yishin said in a muffled voice. Someone whispered, "Why reward him?" Seeing this, the fitness guy felt that he had suffered a great humiliation. Although many fitness men have unclear sexual orientation, he definitely likes women with good figures and money, who can give him both money and beauty. He has been eyeing Su Nuoshua for a long time and has been looking for an opportunity to flirt with her, but he didn't expect to be snatched away by this damn boy today. How old is this damn boy? He hasn't even grown all his hair yet. Even with this, you still dare to compete with him for a woman. It's simply overestimating one's own abilities. It's just licking the soles of my shoes, I can even eat your shit. The fitness man said viciously, "I'm comparing it to push-ups with you. Whoever can hold on longer wins. Do you dare?" "Dare." The fitness guy laughed arrogantly. "You said it. What I want to compete with you in is not simple push-ups, but weighted push-ups. When doing push-ups, someone has to sit on top of me. Xiao Wei, come here." The fitness man hooked his finger, and the girl at the front desk came running over. "How much do you weigh?" the fitness man asked obscenely. "I weigh less than 70 pounds. The girl at the front desk answered shyly. The girl at the front desk has no flesh on her body, and except for her face, everything else is unsightly. The fitness guy put his arm around the girl at the front desk and said, "When we do push-ups later, you can sit on me and I will take you flying." The girl at the front desk looked at him with a dazed look in her eyes. "Okay, Tilder." Judging from the situation, these two people must be having an affair. In the past, An Meng often said that Yishin had no idea what the outside world was like. Now Yishin understood that the world outside was dirty. "Sister Nuoshua, come and sit on me," Yishin said to Su Nuoshua. Su Nuoshua was a little shy and hesitantly said, "I'm not as light as her." "Can you really do it?" The girl at the front desk is just a skeleton, while Su Nuoshua is plump and slightly plump. The weight difference between the two is at least 20 to 30 kilograms. Can. Without saying a word, Yishin pulled Su Nuoshua in front of him, put his arms around her waist, and lifted her up easily. Chapter 17. Let us enjoy it first. Su Nuoshua was picked up by Yishin like this. Her heart beat fast, her face turned red, and she didn't know where to put her hands. Until Yishin put her down. Su Nuoshua breathed rapidly. What should she do? This little brother, who was only 18 years old, was so manly. From childhood to adulthood, for Su Nuoshua, whatever she liked must be obtained, but she was a little at a loss when it came to her little brother. If you don't get it, it's a sin. If you get it, it's even more of a sin. The fitness guy sneered and said sarcastically, "What's so great about it? It's like who can't lift something up. If you want to compete, just compete in push-ups and core strength. Do you dare?" "I dare," Yishin replied. The fitness man snorted, lay on the ground and did push-ups. The people around him started to make noises. "These two women have different weights, put down sandbags if you can." Yeah. The fitness coach gritted his teeth and gestured to put a sandbag on his back. A sandbag weighs at least 100 kilograms, and people who are not strong enough can be crushed by it. Yishin also got into position and put a sandbag on his back. Sunuoshua originally wanted to cheat secretly and let Yishin carry a lighter weight, but she found that she couldn't lift the sandbag herself, so she could only cheer for her little brother. Sunuoshua felt so sorry for her. The little brother was only 18 years old and probably hadn't even gone through puberty yet. What if someone gets crushed? No problem, it's very light, Yishin said in a low voice. Little brother. Sunuoshua's eyes were moist, and she felt really distressed. Someone blew a whistle. Start the timer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 25, 26, 27. 40, 50. Yishin was still doing push-ups at a steady pace, but the fitness guy's speed was getting slower and slower, and his face was turning purple. He was almost out of breath, but he didn't dare stop. He never expected that Yishin was so powerful. Every time Yishin did push-ups, Sunuoshua felt distressed. There is a difference between single push-ups and push-ups with weights. Yishin's mind was completely focused on push-ups. He couldn't lose and couldn't embarrass Sunuoshua. He wanted to let Sunuoshua know that he was already a man. The girl at the front desk screamed. Yishin tilted his head to look over and saw that it was a fitness guy who had fallen to the ground. The sandbag on his body tripped the receptionist and she fell. Sunuoshua excitedly grabbed Yishin's shoulders. Little brother, we won. The girl at the front desk fell hard, her legs were scraped, she stood up and kicked the fitness guy directly. You piece of shit, did you do this on purpose? You want to murder me? The fitness man was panting, but he couldn't get up. The people around laughed. This is too exaggerated. Yishin's performance was so strong just now. He did push-ups with weights without breathing heavily and his face didn't even turn red. So terrifying. Fortunately, they did not provoke, otherwise they would be the ones who are embarrassed now. Lick the soles of the shoes. Lick the soles of the shoes. Lick the soles of the shoes. Everyone around started to make a noise. Yishin looked at his shoes, which were also given to him by Sunuoshua. He didn't want anyone else to touch the things Sunuoshua gave him. It's like there's some possessiveness. Yishin walked up to the gym man and said with a look of disgust, I think it's dirty. This sentence is too insulting. Licking someone's soles and being considered dirty is a fatal insult. The fitness man pounded the ground with his fists and said through gritted teeth, I accept the loss of the bet. Then he suddenly pounced forward, hugged Yishin's shoes, and licked the soles hard. The people around laughed. Yishin retracted his feet in disgust and rubbed the soles of his shoes back and forth on the ground. Are you happy now? The fitness man said angrily. Yishin continued to rub the sole of his shoe. Disgusting, I would rather be licked by a dog. People around him gave him a thumbs up and said, You're so handsome, brother. To them, although Yishin looks like a little boy, he is physically strong and has a cool personality, so it is not excessive to call him brother. Brother is a respectful title and has nothing to do with age. The girl at the front desk also came over and said to Yishin coquettishly, Brother, you are so awesome, can you protect me in the future, brother, please love me tilde. Yishin covered his nose and said, Get lost, you are so disgusting. The girl at the front desk was so embarrassed that she refused the gift even though it was delivered to her door. It was painful after she fell, and now she was being called disgusting. Why was she so unlucky today? The more she thought about it, the angrier she got, and she started crying. Woo-woo, you are so cruel, woo-woo. It's even more disgusting when you cry, Yishin said with disgust. Yishin was originally very polite, but this girl at the front desk reminded Yishin of An Meng. They are all the same people. She never respects herself or loves herself, and always sticks to men when she sees them. Yishin disliked this kind of woman from the bottom of his heart. Even when you get close to it, it feels smelly and dirty. Sunuoshua held Yishin's arm, raised her chin, and said to the receptionist with contempt, You are too cheap, can't you see that little brother is mine? Don't you have eyes? Sunuoshua is worthy of being the female president, every word she says is so domineering. There was sighing all around. Most of them knew Sunuoshua and knew that she was a popular girl who was hard to win over. They couldn't understand why before, but now they realized that Sunuoshua liked little boys. And he is a young boy with good physical strength. There was a subtle change in everyone's eyes. Sunuoshua put her lips close to Yishin's ear, her voice full of temptation, Little brother, take off your shoes. We don't want dirty shoes, and we don't want broken shoes. Wear new ones if you want to wear them. After hearing this, several women around were shocked. Who are you calling a slut? Yeah. Yishin took off his shoes and stepped on the ground with his clean white socks. Then, Sunuoshua took off her shoes as well. She was barefoot and gently stepped on Yishin's feet. Little brother, I'll go with you. Sunuoshua's feet are really beautiful, with snow-white skin and round toes that are crystal clear, like small dumplings. How could I bear to let such beautiful little feet be stepped directly on the ground? Yishin suppressed himself. The ground is dirty. What should I do then? Sunuoshua stretched out her finger and poked Yishin's face. Unless someone is willing to carry me away. Yishin's head buzzed and he felt like it was going to explode. So provocative. Yishin squatted down slightly and gave Sunuoshua a princess hug. Sunuoshua buried her little face in Yishin's chest and couldn't help but giggle. She didn't want to care about so many things. So what if there was a big age difference? So what if there was a 12-year age difference? She would just enjoy herself first. Chapter 18, Little Brother Tilder Save Me Tilder. Suluan Yuoxu didn't want to restrain herself anymore. She doesn't necessarily have to monopolize the little brother. If there is a good girl, she doesn't mind the little brother dating. She never wanted to keep her little brother tied to her, but she also wanted to get some happiness, even if it was just a little bit. She is a noble and cold female president, but she is also a woman and she also has desires. She is already at this age. It would be a shame if she didn't bloom and grow old. Sunuoshua's eyes gradually became blurred, and she hooked her hands around Yishin's neck. Little brother. Yishin couldn't help but bend over at the enchanting voice. Sunuoshua, you. Sunuoshua kissed him fiercely. Yishin was stunned and he was about to lose his balance. After a few minutes, their lips parted. Sunuoshua. Yishin's voice was very low. He restrained himself madly and did not dare to show any abnormality. Sunuoshua touched Yishin's lips with her finger, half-closed her eyes, and asked in a tone as sweet as honey, "Is it sweet?" Yishin licked his lips and couldn't help savoring the taste. Sweet. Sunuoshua's little face was pressed against Yishin's chest. Little brother, will you remember me forever? Yishin felt a little depressed. Yes. He was sure that he would never forget Sunuoshua. From the first sight, I will never forget it. But what's the use of this? We will be separated one day. No matter how unforgettable it is only a short summer vacation. When autumn comes, everything becomes a bubble. Yishin felt very sad. Why did he lose everything before he got it? Family, and Meng, are all so ruthless. And he couldn't keep Sunuoshua either. Is this the pain of growing up? Sunuoshua's tears fell. She wished her little brother would remember her forever. But she would rather her little brother forget her. One day, Yishin will have his own life, fall in love with a girl of similar age, get married and have children. And she herself will probably continue to be lonely. Sunuoshua, why are you crying? Yishin asked. Sunuoshua sniffed. Nothing, I just thought of something and I want to rest for a while. By the way, do you have your ID card? Yes, I brought it. Yishin replied. He always carries his ID card with him. Okay, Sunuoshua took a deep breath. Accompany me to the hotel and get a room. Yishin's pupils dilated. Sunuoshua, what are you doing? Yishin's flustered look made Sunuoshua burst into laughter. Don't be afraid, I just want to rest for a while. Although she really wanted to, she would never forcefully eat the little brother. She was already very satisfied that her little brother could be with her. The age difference between them made her dare not to have any wild thoughts. Yeah. Yishin was a little breathless, feeling an indescribable disappointment in his heart. Who says that booking a room has to be a certain way? He shouldn't have such wild thoughts. The two of them booked a king-size room. Sunuoshua lay on the bed with her legs crossed. The ambiguous lighting in the hotel made her look particularly sexy. If she couldn't get a little brother, at least she got a record of checking into a hotel. Maybe in the future, when my little brother checks into a hotel with someone else, he will recall this day. Yishin sat on a chair in the hotel with his eyes blank. He didn't dare to look at Sunuoshua, nor even stand up. He is already an adult male, a healthy adult male. Sometimes the brain cannot control the body and it is easy to cause an accidental discharge. Sunuoshua climbed up from the bed, patted Yishin's shoulder gently, and whispered in Yishin's ear, "Little brother, I'm going to take a shower. Yishin felt his face was hot and his nose was also hot. I feel like I'm going to have a nosebleed. There was the sound of water splashing in the shower. Yishin didn't dare to move because he knew that the glass of the shower room was transparent. Maybe the hotel wants to add spice to the couples who book a room. Sunuoshua started humming a song. Come on, have fun, there's plenty of time anyway. Come on, love, there is a lot of folly anyway. Come on, wander around, there are plenty of directions anyway. Come on, pretend. There's plenty of scenery to be had. The charming voice is very seductive, and coupled with the beautiful sound of flowing water, it makes people imagine a lot. Yishin pinched his thigh hard. Stay calm, you must stay calm. Sunuoshua was so kind, so beautiful, and so good to him, how could he do something immoral? Sunuoshua applied shower gel all over her body. The slippery foam made her feel even more lonely and empty. She is the heiress to a wealthy family, a high-ranking female president, a true flower on the mountain top. She is noble and pure, cold as ice, and she thinks that she can never think about men again. But she was wrong. She sometimes thinks about it. She never thought there was anything good about men, only disgust from the bottom of her heart, until Yishin appeared and made her panic. But my little brother is only 18 years old. But she is already 30 years old. What is difficult to break is the age gap and worldly prejudice. I really want it, but I can't get it. This feeling of loss is suffocating. The more panicked I get, the more I think about it, the more itchy I get, and the more I scratch it, the more. Sunuoshua wrapped herself in a bath towel and walked barefoot on the tiles. He slipped and fell to the ground. It hurts Tilder. Sunuoshua supported herself on the ground with her hands and tried to get up. After hesitating for a moment, she simply fell to the ground. Little brother Tilder, save me, Tilder. Hearing Sunuoshua's cry for help, Yishin almost jumped up and ran over uncontrollably. Sunuoshua's hair was wet and she was only wearing a bath towel. She was lying on the ground, looking weak, as if she had lost all her strength. Sister Nuoshua. Yishin squatted down. Are you injured? Yeah. Sunuoshua's eyes were full of grievance, and she said softly, my legs hurt so much. Yishin subconsciously looked at Sunuoshua's legs. Her skin was white and delicate, like milk. She had just taken a shower and her skin was not yet dry, making her look even more charming. Sister Nuoshua, you. Yishin's throat rolled, he didn't know what to say. The two of them were in such a small room, and Sunuoshua was like a delicious candy. As long as they opened the wrapping paper, they could taste it at will. It's delicious while eating, but after eating. Yishin's mind was in a mess. The blood kept rushing upwards. Until the nose bleeds. Tick-tock. Bright red blood dripped down. Yishin quickly covered his nose. He really felt so ashamed, it was the most embarrassing moment in his life. Yishin wanted to say that he didn't mean it. But his nose was bleeding, so who would believe him if he said it wasn't intentional? Sunuoshua, I'm sorry. Yishin could only apologize. He did have feelings for Sunuoshua, he admitted it. Even if Sunuoshua blamed him and scolded him, he would admit it. However, Sunuoshua had already fainted. Sister Nuoshua. Yishin shook Sunuoshua nervously. Nuoshua, shua. Chapter 19, Women Like Me Are Lonely. Sunuoshua was just slightly fainted and would be fine after calming down a little. But things get interesting when the little brother is that nervous. Moreover, she liked to hear Yishin call her shua. Not an aunt or a sister, but a woman, a weak woman who needs protection. She likes it this way. Yishin was very nervous. He was worried about Sunuoshua, but he was even more worried that he didn't have enough self-control. Sunuoshua is so sexy that it is hard to resist and even tempting to commit a crime. A beautiful woman, fainted on the ground, with only a bath towel wrapped around her body, any man would want to. Yishin thought so too. His mind was in a mess, and he understood that once some things were done, there was no going back. But, it will be very happy, right? Yishin slowly stretched out his hand, almost touching the bath towel on Sunuoshua. At this moment, the devil had the upper hand. There were rustling sounds of footsteps outside the door. Yishin suddenly calmed down. He pulled his hand back as if he had been electrocuted. Sunuoshua was so good to him, how could he commit a crime? Yishin closed his eyes and relaxed for a while. The person outside the door left, but several small cards were stuffed into the crack of the door. They were colorful and very eye-catching. Yishin carried Su Nuoshue back to the bed and went to pick up the card himself. The card had obscene words printed on it, clearly indicating that special services could be provided. Yishin turned over the card and saw a woman printed on it with a flattering smile and revealing clothes. The more he looked at her, the more familiar she looked. Yishin's head buzzed. This is An Meng? She actually did this in private. Didn't you learn your lesson after having an abortion? Yishin's hands were shaking. He couldn't believe that the girl he had liked for 3 years was actually such a person. It turned out that it was the bright moon shining on the ditch. Yishin hid in the bathroom and dialed the number on the card. Hello, do you need any service? The starting price is 3,000. Yishin's hands were shaking more and more. He was very familiar with this voice. It was An Meng. Are you short of money? Yishin asked. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a while, then she cried and said, Yishin, is that you? Is it really you? Don't get me wrong, it's not what you think. I'm just playing a game, really, please believe me. An Meng, stop pretending. Yishin's voice was cold. After being exposed time and time again, his heart has already been torn into pieces. No. Yishin, listen to me, it's not what you think. Actually I like you, I love you. Can we start over? An Meng prayed. Maybe in the past, even if Yishin knew so many truths, as long as An Meng cried, he would soften his heart and continue to be a bootlicker. But not now. Because of disappointment, and also because of Su Nuoshue. Start over again. Do you think you're filming a movie? An Meng, stop dreaming. I will never like you. I'm calling you because we're classmates. I'm giving you some good advice. Don't go down the wrong path again, otherwise you'll die a miserable death in the future. Yishin said. Yishin, how could you treat me like this? An Meng questioned Yishin. Yes, I did have a few boyfriends, but so what? If you could give me a sense of security, would I need to do this? This is all your fault. If you don't give me money, I can only ask other men for it. This is all your fault. You didn't protect me well. If you apologize to me now and give me another 100,000 yuan, I will forgive you. Yishin took a deep breath and he gave in. It was clearly An Meng who hurt him, and it was clearly An Meng who fell into depravity, but in the end she blamed everything on him. It was simply a distortion of the truth. Yishin hung up the phone. It would be a waste to give even one more look to someone like An Meng. He turned on the tap and washed his face. Cold water can sober you up. Yishin walked out of the bathroom and saw Su Nuoshue still lying on the bed, motionless. Her hair soaked the sheets. White sheets, sexy women, everything is so impactful. Yishin rubbed his nose. No matter what, you must not have a nosebleed. Then he noticed that Su Nuoshue's eyelashes were trembling, her breathing was becoming more and more rapid, and her chest was rising and falling. Yishin suddenly realized that it was just a pretense. He approached quietly, stretched out his hands, and reached for Su Nuoshue's armpits. After 2 or 3 hits, Su Nuoshue couldn't bear it anymore. The little face turned red. It's so itchy, I can't stand it, Tilda. You are so naughty. Yishin refused to give up. This woman almost ruined his plan. Give her a little punishment and see if she dares to do it again. Su Nuoshue curled up into a ball and giggled. She has itchy spots all over her body, but because of her noble status, no one dares to touch her. Today she is in the hands of this little brother. Please, let me go, Tilda. Yishin held Su Nuoshue's wrist with one hand and tickled her with the other. Who told you to pretend to faint and lie to me? Su Nuoshue's face became redder and redder. She bit her lips lightly and said with a dazed look in her eyes, It seems that you are quite nervous about me. What did you do in the bathroom just now? Huh. Seeing that Yishin didn't say anything, Su Nuoshue became more and more teasing. Tell me. Do you have a secret? Yishin quickly denied, no. Su Nuoshue hooked Yishin's chin with a charming expression. Why are you so nervous? Is there really a secret? I went to wash my face. Yishin felt his heart beating faster. He clearly had the upper hand just now. Now he is the one who can't stand it. Is it really like what others say, that young girls are seductive and alluring? Yishin let go of Su Nuoshue. Unexpectedly, Sun Yuoshua turned sideways, put her arms around Yishin's neck, and breathed warmly on his face. Little brother, do you know that a woman like me is very lonely? Sister Yuoshua. Yishin felt very hot and panicked. Sun Yuoshua curled her lips. You can call me Shua Shua, just like you did just now. Shua Shua. Yishin was a little breathless. He didn't want to fall so quickly, but he couldn't control it. Sun Yuoshua pressed her lips against Yishin's lips. Yishin's throat rolled and his body stiffened. At this moment, Sun Yuoshua stopped. Shua Shua. Yishin's voice was a little hoarse. We. Sun Yuoshua pinched Yishin's face and asked with a smile, tell me, have you never done that before? Sun Yuoshua hugged Yishin and tears flowed down her face. What on earth is she doing? How could she be so selfish as to take away little brother's first time? The little brother was only 18 years old, and she was already an old woman. She could be one of her younger brother's women, but she didn't dare to be the first one. Sun Yuoshua kissed Yishin again, smiled bitterly and said, go get a girlfriend who's 18 or 19 years old, don't let your life have regrets. Yishin felt very depressed. I don't like them, I like mature women. Chapter 20, The Pursuit of Both Money and Beauty. Sun Yuoshua's eyes moved, the corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and she said softly, you haven't even tried it, how do you know what you like? Yishin was stunned. Sun Yuoshua's question was so sharp that he didn't know how to answer. Sun Yuoshua hugged Yishin gently, no matter what, I will thank you. Thank you for coming into my life. Thank you for making me understand that liking someone is sweet and bitter. These words can never be said. Yishin's Adam's apple rolled and he didn't know what to say. He had some liking for Sun Yuoshua, at least physiologically. Men, when it comes to who they have feelings for and who they don't, certain things won't lie to you. Sometimes he thought about the age difference between them. 12 years old, Sun Yuoshua graduated from elementary school and Yishin was just born. If you're just playing around, of course you don't have to worry about anything. Just like a scumbag, he just pulled up his pants and left, and refused to admit his mistake afterwards. Yishin didn't want that. It seems too early to ask him to take responsibility now. He has just become an adult and has not even graduated from college. 10 years later, he was only 28 years old, full of vigor and vitality. 10 years later, Sun Yuoshua was already 40 years old, a middle-aged woman. There is a saying that goes like this, 30 is like what, 40 is like what? What will Sun Yuoshua look like when she is 40 years old? It must be very beautiful and charming. She is not an ordinary woman, she is a beautiful female president. Yishin originally advised himself to think more about it, but he ended up leading himself into a ditch. I began to imagine what Sun Yuoshua would look like when she was 40 years old. Sun Yuoshua was very restless, some emotions could not be suppressed. In fact, women need release more than men. She hugged Yishin, holding his back tightly, and refused to let go. I really want to be this crazy just once. She doesn't care, but what about her little brother? Sun Yuoshua bit her lip and tried her best to suppress herself. Until a warm current appeared in my stomach. Sun Yuoshua covered her stomach nervously. Why did her period come at this time? The sheets must have been dirty. She didn't dare to move and sat stiffly. Yishin noticed something unusual. Shue shue. Little brother. Sun Yuoshua's face flushed, and she said shyly, can you buy me a pack of sanitary napkins? Yishin subconsciously looked under Sun Yuoshua's buttocks. You're here. Yeah. Sun Yuoshua lowered her head shyly. Yishin suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. If this hadn't happened, something would have definitely happened between him and Sun Yuoshua. In fact, deep down, he was still a little disappointed. Sometimes the brain can't control the body. Men are always troubled by this kind of thing. Just calm down. Okay, I'll go. Yishin ran out frantically. I ran out of the hotel and it was drizzling outside. Fortunately, there was a supermarket nearby. Many boys don't know how to buy sanitary napkins, but Yishin does. He knew that this thing came in long and short varieties, as well as minty ones that were said to produce a cool breeze. How did he know so much? Of course, he often bought sanitary napkins for An Meng. He ran errands and paid for them. A pack of sanitary napkins, 10 or 20 yuan, is not much, but An Meng doesn't he know that this is Yishin's breakfast money for a week? For the girl he likes, he can go hungry. In An Meng's words, he is like a dog, willing to do anything. A dog licker will end up with nothing. It really proves the saying that those who bootlick the dog will not have a good death. Sunyuoshua gently lifted her buttocks, and sure enough, there was a large pool of blood under her. The hotel must pay for the bed sheets. She didn't care about the money, she just felt embarrassed. It's neither early nor late, why does my period come at this time? She rubbed her belly, but it was okay, at least now the little brother knew that she was not a menopausal woman. Sunyuoshua felt a dull pain in her lower abdomen and lay on the bed, squinting her eyes, and fell asleep unknowingly. Yishin ran back to the hotel quickly. Yishin ran out and ran back. The lady at the front desk saw the whole thing and she covered her mouth and laughed. I thought it was because he was young and in good health that he was so impatient. In the hotel, it goes without saying what the man is going to buy. Yishin was soaked all over, but he didn't care about himself. He is the kind of person who, once he gives everything. It's the same for An Meng and Sunyuoshua. Yishin opened the door of the room and saw Sunyuoshua lying on the bed with her eyes closed, seemingly asleep. Yishin walked over gently and touched Sunyuoshua's hair. Fragrant and very soft. He took a deep breath and said, "Shua, I bought it." Sunyuoshua slowly opened her eyes and saw Yishin, who was soaked all over. She couldn't help but feel distressed. "Little brother, is it raining outside?" It is said that rain can make people sober, but Yishin felt that he was not sober, but was getting deeper and deeper. It will be autumn soon after this rain. Autumn is the season for school. School starts. After school starts, he will have no reason to live in Sunyuoshua's house. It hurts. It really hurts. Sunyuoshua knelt on the bed and pulled the corner of Yishin's clothes. "Look at you, you are all wet." Yishin suppressed himself and said, "I also bought some brown sugar. I heard that women will feel better if they drink brown sugar water during menstruation." "Yeah." Sunyuoshua blushed slightly. "Can you feed me?" "Good." Sunyuoshua went to change her sanitary napkin, and Yishin made some brown sugar water. Yishin put the brown sugar water to his lips and blew it before feeding it to Sunyuoshua. "It's not hot anymore." Sunyuoshua took a sip and found it so sweet. She was almost in tears. The feeling of being cared for was truly fascinating. She really wished time could stop at this moment. "Little brother, why are you so nice to me?" Sunyuoshua asked. Yishin was panicked. How should he answer? He couldn't say that he liked Sunyuoshua, let alone any physiological liking for her. Yishin lowered his head, hiding his inner thoughts. "Because I am a man and you are a woman, a man takes care of a woman, it's that simple." Sunyuoshua's eyes moistened. "What if this woman is not your wife in the end? Aren't you afraid of helping others take care of their wives?" Yishin's hands trembled. He was afraid. Every man is afraid of giving his heart and soul only to find himself supporting someone else's wife, which is like being cuckolded. "Shua, will you marry another man?" Yishin asked. Sunyuoshua smiled, her eyes like a pool of spring water. "I don't think so. The men who approach me all have a purpose, they want my sex and my money, why should I marry them?" What Sunyuoshua said was very realistic. For a beautiful female CEO like her, people who approach her are looking for both money and beauty. Apart from Yishin, who else is sincere? It's a pity that the little brother is too young. In that case, then you are not someone else's wife. Yishin said confidently. Sunyuoshua was amused. "You take care of me like this, aren't you afraid that your future wife will be unhappy?" Yishin chuckled and said nothing. How can he find a wife after meeting a woman like Sunyuoshua? No one can compare to her top-notch beauty and figure. Once you have seen the ocean, all other waters are but puddles. Once you have seen Mount Wushan, all other mountains are but. Sunyuoshua did not continue asking, but kissed Yishin. With tears in her eyes, she said, "Your wife will kiss you like this in the future, but I hope you will remember me, forever." Chapter 21, Lack of Men. Yishin felt an electric current passing through his heart. The pain is accompanied by a tingling sensation, which is addictive. If one day he really has a wife, his wife will kiss him everywhere, and he will also kiss his wife everywhere, but when doing this, he will inevitably think of Sunyuoshua. And his so-called wife might also think of her ex-boyfriend. It's really sad to have two minds and different dreams in the same bed. It is said that blank paper seeks blank paper and newspaper seeks newspaper, but there are really few blank paper among girls nowadays. There are many people like An Meng who have had abortions. On the contrary, it is rare to find someone like Sun Yuoshua who has never been in a relationship. The higher the flower is, the cleaner it is. Now Yishin has come to some understanding. Boys should look up when looking for a partner. Shua Shua. Yishin was a little confused and disoriented. Sun Yuoshua moaned. Little brother, I'm a little tired, can I lie on your lap? There was a hint of pleading in Sun Yuoshua's voice. She is usually a high-ranking female president, but at this moment she is really vulnerable and just wants a little comfort and a little love. Yishin felt his body gradually becoming stiff, and he nodded gently. Sun Yuoshua slowly lay down, resting her head on Yishin's thigh, closed her eyes, her eyelashes trembling, her heart throbbing with indescribable excitement. Sun Yuoshua fell asleep. Yishin couldn't sleep. His mood was up and down, and he couldn't calm down for a second. He is a good man, but what if he is not a good man? The hotel room, the delicate woman, everything seemed to be the best time. But he is a good man. Good people suffer losses. Yishin wanted to move, but Sun Yuoshua held onto his legs and refused to let go. Sun Yuoshua was half asleep and half awake. She only knew that she couldn't let go. No matter how hard it was, she had to hold on. If she fails to catch him for even a moment, the little brother will no longer belong to her. She didn't want that. She was born into a noble family and was beautiful. She could easily get whatever she wanted since she was a child. However, when facing Yishin, she felt panicked and uneasy. Yishin remained in this position until dawn. By the end, both his legs were paralyzed. Sun Yuoshua slowly opened her eyes. She hugged Yi's waist with both hands, and said charmingly, "Little brother, you are so silly." Yishin remained silent. He was a fool to begin with. Those who are hurt are always fools. Sun Yuoshua grabbed Yishin's hand, placed it on her lower abdomen, and said softly, "Little brother, you know, I have severe dysmenorrhea. Every time I have my period, it hurts so much that I can't sleep. But when you are with me, I don't feel any pain at all. I just feel warm and comfortable." Sun Yuoshua looked at Yishin with tenderness in her eyes. Chinese medicine says that my condition is due to imbalance of yin and yang. In layman's terms, I just lack a man. Yishin swallowed his saliva, feeling an indescribable heat. Men are yang and women are yin, and the harmony of yin and yang is best. Everyone knows what needs to be done in this kind of coordination. Yishin's throat was dry until it became hoarse. "So, Shua, do you want to find a man?" Sun Yuoshua's eyes were blurred, and her voice was like honey. "I won't look for one. I hate those men. I like clean boys like you." Yishin clenched his fists tightly. At this moment, he really wanted to tear off the bath towel on Sun Yuoshua. Then be really unbridled. Soon I calmed down again. Shua was still on her period. He can't. Sun Yuoshua pressed tightly against Yishin, feeling her body temperature. The future is unpredictable, but you can still enjoy the present. At this moment, the two of them hugged each other tightly, like real lovers. Sun Yuoshua thought that she would never get married in this life and would live out her life alone, but she couldn't ruin her little brother. She is an elegant and noble female president and an heiress to a wealthy family. She has everything except inferiority complex when it comes to love. She wanted Yishin and everything about him. But what can she do? Lock up the little brother? Or break his legs? Neither. Even if she did that, Sun Yuoshua herself would feel bad. This kind of forbearing love is the most painful. Sun Yuoshua slowly stood up, took out a lipstick from her bag and applied it on her lips. Then he slowly leaned down and pressed his lips on Yishin's shoulder. She hugged Yishin and cried, Why do you leave such a deep impression on me?" Shua. Yishin couldn't bear it any longer. He hugged Sun Yuoshua and kissed her hard. His kisses fell on Sun Yuoshua's cheeks, nose, ears, and neck. Looking at the red marks, he felt a sense of pleasure in his heart. Sun Yuoshua is so beautiful and pure and flawless, everything about her is so fascinating. Shua, am I the first person to kiss you like this?" Yishin asked, panting. Men are all possessive. Sun Yuoshua nodded shyly. She has made up her mind to keep all her first times for Yishin. When he wants it, he comes to get it. She won't resist. Their hotel delivered breakfast which was delicious. Sun Yuoshua took a sip of the juice and murmured, "It's delicious." I think food is like people. It should be eaten when it is fresh. It won't taste good if it is expired. At my age, it's a little expired. Yishin put his arm around Su Nuorshua's waist, became bolder, and teased, women are overdue when they reach menopause, it's too early for you. Su Nuorshua threw herself into Yishin's arms, hate tilder. Bad brother tilder. Su Nuorshua wanted Yishin to become worse and worse. When a man bullies a woman, it means he loves her. Little brother, can I sit on your lap? Su Nuorshua said coquettishly. Yishin hummed. He couldn't refuse. Su Nuorshua sat up, her body was soft, very sexy and seductive. In order to hide his impulse, Yishin kept looking at his phone. No matter what you brush, your mind is always distracted. Until he saw. The school's confession wall exploded. An Meng posted her pregnancy report on the confession wall. I am pregnant with someone's child and hope that someone can take responsibility. An Meng is the school belle, and when she gets pregnant, of course it causes a sensation. Damn it, whoever defiled the school beauty, come out and admit it. If you don't recognize me after you pull up your pants, you are not a man. I want to kill someone. This kind of scene was exactly what An Meng wanted to see, so she continued to post it. I really love him, please don't blame him, as long as he is willing to take responsibility, I can forgive him. Then he quickly sent another message to Yishin. Yishin, are you willing to be my boyfriend? If you don't, that someone is you. If you don't understand what I'm saying, go and look at the campus confession wall. Yishin's anger suddenly rose. An Meng is pregnant, but what does it have to do with him? An Meng's private life is so messy, who knows which wild man she belongs to? What's more, the child has already been aborted, so why force him to take responsibility? Is he a big villain? Chapter 22 only for you. Yishin only replied with one word. Roll. I don't want to say even one more word to An Meng. The girl whom he once liked so much, the girl whom he regarded as a goddess, disappointed him time and time again, and even made him sick. An Meng was shaking all over. She didn't understand why Yishin treated her like this. From the beginning to the end, Yishin was her bootlicker. During her 3 years of high school, Yishin gave her whatever she wanted, bought her milk tea and breakfast, and was as obedient as a dog. With just one word from her, Yishin gave up Peking University and Tsinghua University and accompanied her to college. She is just pregnant with someone else's child now, and has already had the abortion. What else can you want her to do? So what if there is a past? So what if it is not clean? If Yishin had just given her money, would she have to work so hard? An Meng gritted her teeth and said, in that case, don't blame me for being rude. An Meng wanted Yishin to take over, but since he refused, she wanted him to be socially destroyed. An Meng quickly typed on her phone and posted it on the campus confession wall. Yishin, you asked me to have an abortion and I did, can you please not abandon me? Such a humble tone really made everyone feel distressed. People in the school have no idea who An Meng really is. An Meng is the school belle, so they believe whatever she says. Especially those boys, at this moment, they wanted to kill Yishin. Not only did he defile the goddess, he also forced the girl to have an abortion. Is he still a human being? Yishin didn't expect that An Meng would be so cruel. In this case, he couldn't bear it any longer. Yishin directly sent the small card with An Meng's name printed on it to the group. Your goddess, starting price is 3,000. When Yishinfa said this, he couldn't help feeling a little heartbroken. The money he spent on An Meng was more than 3,000. But what did he get? He didn't even touch it. What Yishin sent was so explosive that the confession wall fell silent. An Meng panicked. She didn't expect Yishin to be so cruel. She was so angry that she posted several messages in the group. Yishin, I don't care about a bootlicker like you. If you can't get me, you'll destroy me. Did I say someone is you? Even if I marry for the 8th time, it won't be your turn. Don't think you are so great, you must apologize to me today. Yishin sneered. Laugh at his own mistake, laugh at An Meng for being so stupid. She wanted Yishin to take over, but she ended up being the first to fall. After a few minutes, An Meng finally reacted. Har har, actually I'm not pregnant, I was just kidding. My starting price is not 3,000 either, I am just kidding. I'm afraid everyone will be too bored during the summer vacation, so I'm going to have some fun. Actually, I have never been in a relationship before. I hope to find a boyfriend in school after the start of the semester. With just a few words, An Meng managed to hook all the boys into fishing. In fact, many people know that An Meng is not clean, but they are unwilling to believe it. In front of the goddess, I am willing to be blind. Once upon a time, Yishin was like this too. There is no bottom line for bootlickers. In order to make the whole thing seem more real, An Meng frantically at Yishin. Yishin cooperates with me. In fact, we are good friends. We too are just entertaining everyone. Yishin, please say something. Yishin didn't want to say anything, just sneered. An Meng was so shameless that he had nothing to say. Sunyuoshua had been secretly looking at Yishin's phone screen. She felt that she should do something, for herself and for her little brother. Little brother. Sunyuoshua said seductively with blurred eyes, give me the phone. Then the phone slipped into Sunyuoshua's hands. She adjusted her sitting position, took Yishin's hand, took a photo, and posted it on the campus confession wall with a line of words. No time, busy checking in. Can't a 30-year-old female president beat a little girl? She has countless methods. It doesn't matter whether it's conspiracy or covert conspiracy, as long as she wants to. The obscure photos make people think more. 18 or 19 years old is a restless age, and a photo like this is enough to cause a sensation. What's more, the protagonist is Yishin. The boy who is good at studying and looks handsome, but very socially anxious. Everyone's impression of him is that he is a bootlicker of school beauty in Meng. Now even he has a girlfriend. It's just a summer vacation, how come so many things happened? Yishin, you are in love too. Don't just hold hands, show your face. Show your face. Show your face. Show your face. Sunyuoshua took a deep breath. No clothes on, no show. This simple sentence revealed so much information that everyone screamed with excitement. Sunyuoshua curled the corners of her mouth in satisfaction. As long as she wanted, playing with these children was like playing with dogs. At the same time, she felt a little sad, and she really didn't dare to show her face. She is indeed very beautiful, the kind of beauty that can overwhelm a whole country, but what's the use? No matter what, age is there. The difference between a woman in her 30s and a girl of 18 or 19 can be seen at a glance. She also wanted to announce her relationship with Yishin openly, just like all other young couples. But she didn't dare. Even if they become lovers one day, she can only be a secret lover. Little brother. Sunyuoshua looked at Yishin, her beautiful eyes filled with a hint of sadness. Isn't it true that you won't blame me for posting these? Yishin withdrew the photo of the two holding hands. He said in a muffled voice, I don't want to show it to others. Sunyuoshua is so beautiful, from her hair to her toes, even her little hands are so beautiful. The boys in the school were all very hungry, and Yishin was afraid that they would save the pictures. He has a deep possessiveness towards Sunyuoshua. Sunyuoshua smiled charmingly, are you jealous? Yishin blushed and refused to speak. What right does he have to be jealous? She is not Sunyuoshua's boyfriend. Sunyuoshua kissed Yishin, don't be jealous, I won't care about others from now on, okay tilde. Yishin felt like he was on fire, and he said with a rolling throat, okay. Sunyuoshua threw herself into Yishin's arms again, okay, I'll only give it to you. My love, everything I have, will only be given to you. Just let it fall like this, don't worry too much. On the other side, a girl was already in tears. Yangshi, she is a sophomore girl. She started to like Yishin from the first day she saw him at the university. But at that time, Yishin was pursuing An Meng, so Yangshi withdrew. The girls all knew what An Meng was like, so Yangshi was waiting for Yishin to wake up one day. But now, Yishin has a girlfriend. She felt as if her heart was being torn apart. She didn't have to be with Yishin, she was just afraid that Yishin would find a bad girl. She sent a WeChat message to Yishin with tears in her eyes. Yishin, can you let me see what your girlfriend looks like? In order to hide his inner feelings, he added another sentence. Don't get me wrong, I'm just too curious. Chapter 23. Are you serious? Yishin felt a little guilty towards Yangshi. The senior student was very nice and often advised him night after night, telling him that An Meng was not a good girl and was not worth it. Yishin nodded and agreed, and An Meng hooked her finger, and he immediately followed An Meng. Senior, I can tell you, but can you keep it a secret for me? Yishin replied. It's not that he doesn't want to make Sunyuoshua public, it's just that Sunyuoshua is not his girlfriend yet. If Sunyuoshua turned around and left, What would he be, a clown? Yishan doesn't want to be a bootlicker, nor does he want to be a clown. You say Tilda, Yang she made a seductive expression. Is your girlfriend from our school? Or is it from the nearby nursing school? Neither. Yishan typed, she is not a student. She is 30. Yang she sent out more than a dozen question marks in succession. Yishan, are you serious? Oh my god, even if it wasn't An Meng, you wouldn't have found an old woman. 30 is really too old for people of their age. A 30-year-old aunt feels like someone from the last century, it's hard to imagine. No, I mean, can't you find a girlfriend in school? At least we're about the same age. Even if you want to be my girlfriend, you can't find an aunt. There was a selfish motive behind Yang Shi's words. She wanted to date Yishan very much. Yishan understood Yang Shi's shock, but what should he say? Auntie gave him all the sense of security, and her charm was something that no little girl could compare to. He likes Su Nuoshue, both physically and mentally. I like young women. Yishan didn't want to explain anything. Are you so depraved because you are too sad? Yang Shi certainly didn't understand. She is 1 year older than Yishan, and she feels old. Who would have thought that Yishan would turn around and find a 30-year-old woman? How embarrassing for her. No, I really like it. Yishan didn't feel guilty about Su Nuoshue. Like is like. Oh my god, can you afford to support a 30-year-old woman? This matter was too absurd. Yang Shi no longer had time to feel sad. She felt that typing was too slow, so she sent a voice message directly to Yishan. After graduating from college, you still need to do internships and find a job, but she's already 30 years old. Can she really wait for you for so many years? Besides, at their age, it's not enough to just have a cup of milk tea to please them. You need to give them perfume and bags. If you make them happy, do you still have money to eat? Yishan, wake up. Falling in love is not about suffering. Even if you're a boy, you have to learn to love yourself, okay? What Yang Shi said were all very realistic issues, and Yishan understood. But now if he is asked to leave Su Nuoshue, he can't do without her. Little brother Tilda, Su Nuoshue tilted her head, her eyes half charming and half innocent. What are you thinking about? Yishan cleared Yang Shi's chat history, nothing. He didn't want to think about those problems. He knew that he was young now, but that didn't mean he couldn't protect Su Nuoshue. Why should we think so much? As long as we love each other and are happy, that's enough. Yishan refused to say, so Su Nuoshue didn't ask. She was mature and considerate, and didn't want to see Yishan feel bad. At her age, how could she not know what boys' concerns are? Cars, houses, and expensive betrothal gifts. All of these weigh on the boys like a mountain. If Su Nuoshue was still 18 years old, she would definitely accompany Yishan through hardships, take walks in the playground, and rent the cheapest hourly room near the school. She wouldn't care even if the sheets were yellow and smelly. But she is already 30 years old, and she is also the daughter of a wealthy family and a female CEO. She is too rich. When a woman reaches this stage, expressing love is a different way. She could buy Yishan a luxury car, a villa, or even a street. Everything can be calculated with money, except sincerity. Little brother Tilda, Su Nuoshue threw herself on Yishan and said tenderly, take me home, please Tilda. You drive, okay. I'm on my period, it hurts Tilda. Su Nuoshue's eyes sparkled. She also wanted to sit in the passenger seat. It would be such a wonderful thing to have a boyfriend as a driver. Yeah. Yishan agreed. Luckily he has a driver's license. What Yishan didn't know was that Su Nuoshue secretly ordered a Panamera as a back-to-school gift for him. Su Nuoshue was really weak during her menstrual period and fell asleep on the way. When they arrived at the villa, Yishan carefully carried Su Nuoshue out of the car. Su Nuoshue is very well behaved, like a kitten. At the same time, she is very sexy, slightly plump, and has meat where it should be. Yishan gently placed Su Nuoshue on the bed. He rubbed his nose. It was often at moments like this that he realized how difficult it was to express one's feelings within the limits of courtesy. Yishan returned to his room, lay on the bed, and his mind was full of thoughts. Thinking of Su Nuoshue, and also thinking about Yang Shi's words. Where is his future with Su Nuoshue? If you're just having fun, you don't have to take any responsibility, just have fun. But Yishan just didn't want to play around. He is really stupid. If he likes someone, he wants to be with him or her for a lifetime. But he was only 18, what could he do? He doesn't have a diploma yet, so if he wants to make money, he can only go out and work as a bricklayer. If I hold the bricks, I can't hold you. If I put down the bricks, I can't support you. Girls will never understand this kind of sadness. It's hard for boys. They can't tell anyone what's on their mind. As for Yishin, he is used to singing his thoughts into songs and saving them in his private account. His loneliness and anxiety all became secrets, sealed forever. Yishin opened his phone, thinking about his family who didn't want him, and Meng's betrayal, and that Tsinghua University he was forced to give up. Finally, I thought of Sun Yuoshua. He did not show his face and only recorded his own singing. If I was young and successful, I would not feel inferior to others. Know what is precious? Those beautiful dreams. If I didn't give it to you, I would feel guilty for the rest of my life. If I were young and capable, I would know when to advance and when to retreat. I won't let you suffer for me. Have a few more drinks at the wedding. And the one you are with now. Have a few extra drinks at the wedding. I wish I could achieve great things in my youth. Yishin's hands were shaking and his voice was trembling. He was very scared, because suddenly one day, Sun Yuoshua married someone else. Maybe that person is a rich old man. But he was unwilling to accept it, he really was unwilling to accept it. If that day really comes, he might go and steal the bride. He was serious, no kidding. Auntie, Sun Yuoshua, should be his. This time, Yishin made the songs he sang public. The title reads, My Story with Her. In less than 10 minutes, it received over 100,000 likes. Over 10,000 comments. The comment section is full of regrets. Later, the number of likes reached 1 million, and it became an instant hit. Yishin's voice is so recognizable that even if his face is not shown, people who are familiar with him can recognize it. An Meng directly forwarded it and captioned, The heroine is me. She was very proud in her heart, it seemed that Yishin still loved her. Chapter 24 I gave you face. An Meng's face is still very deceptive, her big eyes look very innocent. In addition, her account contains many dancing videos, which are called dancing but are actually just twisting and turning. An Meng said that she was the heroine of the song Young and Promising, which became popular on the internet, and her account gained hundreds of thousands of fans in a short time. An Meng was excited. She was very greedy. Hundreds of thousands of fans were far from enough for her. So An Meng sent another message. Do you want to know the story between him and me? I will tell you. A few minutes later, An Meng started the live broadcast. She was wearing a small tank top that revealed her shoulders, and had a tissue stuffed across her chest. Ostensibly it was to cover her cleavage, but in reality it was only intended to attract attention. I am the heroine in that song. I have known him since high school and have been dating for 3 years. He treats me very well. I have never despised him for being poor or for being a college student. I think it's because of his low self-esteem that we gradually drifted apart. In fact, I know he loves me and I love him too. I don't want things to become regrettable, so I want to say to that person, let's continue to love each other. An Meng pretended to cry as she spoke, and everyone in the live broadcast room was moved and started giving out various gifts. An Meng was very satisfied. As long as she had money, she would do anything. Moreover, it would be even better if I could take this opportunity to get back together with Yishin. Yishin sings so well, he will definitely make a lot of money in the future, he is definitely a cash cow. Anyway, she is pregnant and had an abortion now, so no one wants her. She might as well be with Yishin. Anyway, Yishin is her dog, so he will definitely continue to lick her. Yang Shi also watched An Meng's live broadcast and she was very confused. She had clearly asked Yishin just now, and Yishin said that his girlfriend was a 30-year-old woman. Since she is 30 years old, she is definitely not An Meng. Why is An Meng jumping around again? Things got even messier. Yang Shi left a few comments in the comment section. Full of lies. There were too many comments in the live broadcast room and they were quickly drowned out by other comments. Yang Shi was so angry that she pounded the bed. She knew too well what kind of person An Meng was. Materialistic, shameless, and without any moral bottom line. Yang Shi made a video call to Yishin. Such an important matter must be told through video. And she also had a little selfish desire. She wanted to see Yishin and missed him very much. Yishin answered the video call in a daze. Senior, what's the matter? Oh my god, you're still sleeping, did you post a singing video online? Well, what's wrong? I didn't show my face, how did you know it was me? Your voice is so recognizable, I can tell it right away. You sang that song for your girlfriend, right? Your girlfriend shouldn't be An Meng, right? Hearing this name, Yishin instantly woke up. What's the matter with An Meng? Yang Shi slapped her thigh and said, it has nothing to do with her. She is now live streaming online and keeps saying that she is your girlfriend. How abominable and shameless. Really? Yishin clenched his fists, his anger rising. He remembered that he had already given An Meng a hard time, so why was this guy still not letting on? Yishin found it ridiculous and wondered how he had fallen for this guy in the first place. You are so blind. I understand. I'll take care of it. Yishin said. Yang Shi narrowed her eyes and asked, Yishin, where are you? Your house didn't look like this before. Has it been renovated? During this summer vacation, Yang Shi called Yishin twice via video, both times to discuss An Meng. Yang Shi's home was not local and it would take several hours by train, so she could only use An Meng as an excuse to talk to Yishin, but she didn't dare to call too often. Yishin swallowed his saliva, which felt like a lump in his throat. He had no home. After his parents found out he was not their biological child, they kicked him out. If it weren't for Sunyuoshua, he would have to sleep on the streets. But there is no need to let Yang Shi know these things. Well, I live with her. Yishin said. Living together. Yang Shi felt a rumble in her head. Are you saying that you are living together with that 30-year-old woman? Yeah. Yishin did not deny it. No, you. Yang Shi didn't know what to say. How far have you two developed? I mean, forget it, you're already living together, so everything must have happened. I should have thought of it a long time ago. Okay, Yishin, I'll keep this secret for you. In Yang Shi's opinion, Yishin was at a disadvantage. A woman in her 30s is definitely just playing around, she's after young flesh. When the time comes and they separate, Yishin will definitely feel very uncomfortable. When that day comes, Yang Shi is still willing to accept Yishin. As long as Yishin is willing. Yishin didn't take Yang Shi's words to heart. She didn't like this senior student, so naturally she didn't care too much. He clicked on An Meng's live broadcast, and An Meng was still jumping around, frantically asking for gifts in the live broadcast room. Yishin felt very annoyed. An Meng was still very beautiful, but the more he looked at her, the more disgusted he felt. Don't give me any more gifts, the heroine is not her. Yishin made a comment in the live broadcast room and clicked the report button. The person involved came out to refute the rumor, and within a few minutes, An Meng's live broadcast room was blocked. In this live broadcast, An Meng has received tens of thousands of gifts. She was so excited that she was not willing to give up. She sent a WeChat message to Yishin and started to act pitiful. Yishin, what are you doing? I know you still like me. I am the heroine of that song. Don't be so stingy. After the live broadcast is over, I will go to a hotel with you and make it up to you, okay tilde. She also posted a few sexy photos later. Those photos were very sexy, but Yishin just felt bored. An Meng's little tricks were ineffective on him. He was very sure that the person he liked now was Sunyuoshua, and the person he wanted was also Sunyuoshua. I remember I gave you face. Return all the gifts you received during the live broadcast, or I will call the police. Fraud carries a sentence of several years in jail. It's your choice. Yishin's tone was cold, and his heart was cold too. Brother Yishin tilde, please don't be like this tilde. Brother Yishin tilde, I beg you tilde. As long as you don't let me return the money, you can ask me to do anything tilde. Yishin, I'll only give you 1 day, or I'll call the police. An Meng is so cheap and dirty that Yishin is unwilling to get a room with her. He is no longer that bootlicker. A boy indulges a girl and lets her trample on him just because he likes her. After being discouraged, I become more sober than anyone else. An Meng was afraid that Yishin would really call the police, so she returned all the money she had earned from the live broadcast. But she won't give up, because school is about to start. After school starts, she will be able to meet Yishin every day. By then, Yishin will definitely fall in love with her again and become her bootlicker. After An Meng refunded the money, there was another sensation on the internet. Everyone is guessing who the heroine in that song is. After Sunyuoshua woke up, she didn't see Yishin and felt very uneasy. Did the little brother leave? Is there something she didn't do well enough? Sunyuoshua didn't have time to put on shoes, so she searched everywhere barefoot. When she saw Yishin, she threw herself into Yishin's arms. Little brother, don't leave me, please. Chapter 25, My little brother is so good. Sunyuoshua felt that she couldn't live without Yishin. Can't live without it for a second. I even feel anxious when I can't smell his scent. She knew that her little brother was too young and it would be selfish to keep him like this. Boys of this age should explore the world, explore more girls, and then find their favorite. But she just couldn't help being selfish. She wants to get her little brother's love. How can she get it? For boys, love comes from pity, and this is called pity. But Sunyuoshua has everything. She is a high-ranking female CEO and a rich heir. Normal people will not pity her. Sunyuoshua looked at Yishin with moist eyes. She said shyly, Little brother, don't leave me. I'm afraid of being alone. I'm really afraid. Because I have depression, I could get sick at any time. Don't watch me suffer, okay? Please. Sunyuoshua didn't have depression at all, but she couldn't help but lie. Be selfish if you want to, she chooses to be selfish to the end. If one day, the little brother really meets true love, she doesn't want to give up. She doesn't necessarily want any status, she just wants love. Even if it's not exclusive love. Yishin touched Sunyuoshua's hair. He knew that depression was very painful, but what could he do? In a few days, school will start. If he and Sunyuoshua were a dream, the dream would end when the weather turned cold. Betrayed by his parents and An Meng, Yishin has long been accustomed to loneliness. He had already understood that anything that could breathe could not be kept by his side. Little brother, kiss me. Sunyuoshua's blurred eyes were filled with uncontrollable desire. Sunyuoshua's lips were cherry red, and Yishin kissed her hard. Time seemed to have stopped. But time passed quickly. Half an hour had passed when the two were almost suffocating. For a moment, Sunyuoshua had a dark thought: how great it would be if the whole world collapsed and only this villa and the two of them were left. Just think about it, it's impossible. Sunyuoshua hooked her hands around Yishin's collar and said, Little brother, what do you usually eat for breakfast? Can you make it for me? She wanted to integrate into Yishin's life and get to know him more. His life, his habits, everything he has. Yishin hesitated, I usually eat instant noodles. He was just an abandoned child, a poor 18-year-old boy, and instant noodles were the best thing he could have. Okay Tilder, Sunyuoshua leaned against Yishin, soak it for me. She wanted to let her little brother know that she could endure hardships with a boy, but if the little brother wanted to enjoy the good times with her, that was also fine. She has the strength to offer all options. I'll go by it. Yishin felt his nose was dry and his throat was hot. He didn't know whether Sunyuoshua just wanted to have fun or what. A 30-year-old woman is hard to guess. Sunyuoshua kissed Yishin and said softly, This is a villa area. If you can't buy it, I'll have someone send it over. Being high and mighty also means being boring. The luxurious villa area actually has no atmosphere of life at all. This place is full of rich people, but it's dead. Sunyuoshua felt that what made her fascinated was perhaps the sense of being alive in Yishin. 10 minutes later, the female secretary brought a box of instant noodles. As a female president, Sunyuoshua's female secretary is naturally beautiful. She was 27 or 28 years old, had a top-notch figure, and a strong scent of perfume, but her charm was hard to conceal. Yishin stared blankly, and at the same time he became more certain that what he liked was not the mature woman, but Sunyuoshua, only Sunyuoshua. How about my female secretary? If you like her, I'll give her to you. She is very obedient. Sunyuoshua said teasingly. When discussing business, there were too many men coveting her female secretary. Sunyuoshua turned a blind eye to what the female secretary was doing with these men in private. It's enough to make a deal. If the water is too clear, there will be no fish. Business situations are a mess, and everyone knows it. Having seen so much, Sunyuoshua has long since developed a heart of stone, and her softness is only for Yishin. I don't want it. Yishin said in a muffled voice. Why, don't you want to? Sunyuoshua hooked her arms around Yishin's neck. Shua. Yishin was a little sad, I really don't want it, I don't want anything. All he wanted was Sunyuoshua. There are many pure girls and many sexy women. If you want, you can change a girlfriend every day. But how can sincerity be tarnished? Sunyuoshua blew a breath towards Yishin. Little brother, you are so good. Sunyuoshua said that giving the secretary to Yishin was a half-true and half-false test. If Yishin wanted it, she would really give it to him, but at the same time she would give up. But now, we can only fall. Sunyuoshua smiled, gently pinched Yishin's face, and said charmingly, I am a person who will give you something if I say so. Now I owe you a woman. Come and get it whenever you want, Tilda. Sunyuoshua was talking about herself. If Yishin wants it, she will give it to him at any time. Yishin lowered his head, feeling mixed emotions. He tore open the instant noodles forcefully to cover up his restlessness. He wanted Sunyuoshua very much, he was just afraid that he wouldn't be able to turn back after acting impulsively. Once the arrow is shot, there is no turning back. Yishin made the instant noodles and the steaming aroma wafted towards him. Feed me, Tilda, Sunyuoshua acted coquettishly. Yishin picked up the instant noodles, blew on them, and made sure they were no longer hot before feeding them to Sunyuoshua. I'll feed you too, Tilda. Sunyuoshua held a mouthful of instant noodles and pressed her lips against Yishin's. The atmosphere was ambiguous to the extreme. Sunyuoshua licked her lips and said, this is called imported food, right? Yishin clenched his fists tightly and suppressed himself. Sunyuoshua is so seductive that Yishin can't resist her. Little brother, school is about to start, right? Sunyuoshua's breath was as sweet as orchid. Sunyuoshua chuckled, I've seen your college entrance examination results. It's a pity to go to a junior college. Do you want to study abroad? Yishin's attention was drawn back, I don't want to. No matter what the reason, this school is my own choice, and I will finish it. He went to college to accompany An Meng, but now he has been there for a while and has developed feelings for the school. Even if he wants to study abroad, Yishin doesn't want to. Sunyuoshua smiled, feeling a little jealous. She was not sure whether Yishin was reluctant to leave the school or the girls in the school. Compared with college girls aged 18 or 19, will she win? At the same time, a company has been contacting Yishin, wanting to buy the copyright of the song Young and Promising for 1 million. Yishin saw it when he went to the toilet.